Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2020 Indian Edition. My name, of course, is Angad Singh Chahal. I go by The Experiment, and with me is a man who needs no introduction. And I see you have a different shirt on today. It's, of course, Animesh, 8-bit Thug Agarwal. Animesh, my dear friend, how are you this fine day?
I'm like way better than I was in the last week when we were discussing a lot of gameplays because we have got some news, we have got some changes, we got the ban on, we got 11 teams kicked out of disqualified of the PMCO and XP. I think you would want to talk more about that.
I definitely want to talk about that. In fact, we always strive to have a fair playing level field for everyone. And in case you are fans of soap operas, I think there's more drama and more juice in the PMCO right now. So all you other TV shows just stay aside because there's a new king in town. But anyway, yes, and it was unfortunate, and I like the fact that Tencent and PUBG Mobile actually took action this quick, Thug, which is unprecedented in esports as such, and such a quick reaction is just amazing.
To maintain the integrity of the tournament, I really appreciate the steps taken by Tencent and PUBG Mobile team, the esports division, to enhance the way this tournament moves forward. And I guess, yes, like you said, I have never seen decisions coming so quick, but then those decisions were imminent and they actually had to take those turn steps.
You are right. And the thing is, at PUBG Mobile over here, we constantly strive to make PUBG Mobile Esports as fair and competitive as we can. I'm pretty sure you can see my eyes are going down a bit, so I'm just going to hold my phone up here. We have constant, thorough background checks and investigations, which sometimes a few people can actually slip through the cracks. However, the few teams, well, 11 teams, right, Thug? 11 teams were found guilty of using certain illegal softwares. It could be cheats, it could be ESPs, whatever. We don't know because, we are the guys who always play fair all the way, whatever it is. But anyway, they were disqualified, which I think is something that you all watching at home would appreciate as well. But you know what? Let's not talk about them right now, Thug, because those teams that are playing today, we have 21 teams in store for you. And, all the spotlight is going to be on them now.
The teams are changing, so we definitely need to look at the teams which are gonna come into play today. But before that, let's quickly remind our viewers that we have a prize pool of $2,600 going to the first place, $600 going to the second, and then third to fifth get a stash of $1,100 each. But what matters is that top 5 teams make it to the PMPL Season 2, which really becomes very important because right now the fight is for the ultimate glory and not just the prize money.
There you have it. It's all about the ultimate glory and representing your team and your nation on the biggest stages of PUBG Mobile, and it's going to be quite an amazing day today. Especially since for all of those watching right now, I'm sure all the statistics are going to come up on your screens shortly. But Thug, we have 21 teams divided in groups of 7. They'll be fighting it out. But let's have a look at the placement points and the point system that is going to be in play today. Of course, nothing has changed. You are all very aware of the situation. 1 kill, 1 point equals a high kill meta game. More action, and I guess as viewers, that's all we want, isn't it?
I believe that right now this is the last time we are going to get to see this kind of points table, wherein we have seen a lot of teams come in so aggressive. Teams like XSpark, even with such a point system, they go for those 15-16 kills games. But right now, the rosters have changed. Teams have been shuffled up, and we have FALLENangelz, STALWART Esports, AZTECS, ESP team, Mayhem, and MCYS FINTOX up 50, proudly moving forward in this tournament.
Yes, sir. And the thing is that, I want to just give a little special shout out to all these boys and girls who are participating for doing it the right way. And talking about Group B, we have XSpark, Team INGL, HEX ReaperX, and Team ESN. So it doesn't matter if you're at the bottom of the table. The best thing is that all of these participants are playing fair. Again, I know I'm going to bring this point up a lot, but that is something that we strive for. Of course, joining them is going to be Nalayk, Team Insane, and Lord Fam. Now, Thug, out of all the teams that were kind of eliminated, we'll come to that in a second as we go over Group C. Reckoning, Team LegStump, BlitzkriegXP, and Nox Official. I've got to ask you a question. It's a loaded question, Thug. So I want to ask you, did any team come as a surprise from the ones that were disqualified?
I believe that, to be honest, I don't think that any of the teams were surprised because there's one team which I know a couple of players were, it was that part where the organization took over another lineup and that scenes happened. But I believe all the teams were had some kind of backstory behind them making into the PMCO group stages. So I believe it was supposed to be the way it happened, and I guess there was a couple of legit players but like, I would not really want to talk about them.
Absolutely. And coming to the schedule for today, all 3 maps are going to be played on Erangel. So all you Erangel fans better get your popcorn and your drinks ready, because we're going to have 3 matches of intense action and mayhem and, well, drama for you guys. But yes, you are absolutely right, Thug, because you know how they say that if a rotten apple can actually destroy the whole bunch and all that. That's exactly what happens, right? If somebody does something illegit or something, it kind of just puts a shadow on everyone else. So again, my heartfelt, condolences to all those people who were disqualified with no fault of their own. But next time, be smarter.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, but I don't think they can be smart in this context, because the ban pen and the anti-cheat system is definitely, something that PUBG Mobile has been preaching on a very strong note, and I believe that's pretty effective, because a couple of misses here and there, a couple of reports, and we got 11 teams disqualified from this big event. But yes, right now we're gonna move towards a new, entirely different day. XP. We have 21 teams right now who have qualified for the semi-finals. These
Mhm.
teams are just playing today for the sake of seeding. So just to let our viewers know, right now we're gonna move straight into semi-finals, but today we are just having the seeding round for the semi-finals.
So, for all of those of you who are a little confused as to how this seeding is actually going to take place, we'll come back to that in the middle of the game, because for the first time today, the plane is up in the sky. It looks like it's a beautiful day to fly out. Unfortunately, we're all going to be flying virtually, since we can't really do that in real life. But anyway, coming back to the game, the plane path is kind of splitting the map a little bit in half. It's diverting towards the southeast at the bottom over there, and it's going to fly right over Severny all the way through over Novo Repnoi. Now, I want to see the teams spread out. I want to see some teams go to the military base this time around.
I mean, like, I'm not really sure. Actually, I don't even recall where these teams used to go. I mean, like, I'll have to wait.
We only saw like
Yeah.
one team in the entire 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's been a long break, and the groups have also reshuffled. But what I'm getting to see right now is that we have a lobby of 14 teams, and that's something new. And I think that would make things a little bit more interesting, given the fact that there's going to be less aggression, a little slow start. But what I'm getting to see, a lot of teams dropping towards the middle part of the flight path, and I see at least 5 teams drop out of the flight around Pochinki. But yes, we'll have to wait, watch, and see how the things turn out around Georgiopol, as I see 4 teams moving towards Georgiopol as well.
Well, I guess we might see action early on, which again, in today's day and age, it's kind of you get used to it, because everyone is now confident in their gun game, and everyone can pick up a weapon, aim, and shoot. And then the zone comes along and says that, what, since we're coming back after a few days, I'm going to take it easy on you guys. Pretty much a central zone over here on the northern island, and we might actually see a few bridge fights. I'm actually got my fingers crossed right now. I want to see a bridge fight. It has been way too long since we last saw it. But one thing that's standing out for me is FALLENangelz have Severny to themselves, and I guess they're going to be one of the lucky teams this game.
Yep, I mean, like, FALLENangelz, we have seen them. I especially would want to see Vishu, because one of Vishu we have seen is one of the finest assaulters that I was able to see around this tournament. And I think we just had a first blood where Exodia went ahead and picked one off. I'm not really sure who went down, but what I see is that Exodia actually used his buggy to get a vehicle kill. And right now, around the containers, we have 2 squads. It's HEX going against a UP50, and we might get to see some early fight and certainly early action here on.
Well, I definitely want to see some action now. HEX, they already have a kill to their name, of course. Exodia over there running over the opponent with his vehicle. I wish we could have seen that, but we saw the vehicle leave the scene of the crime. And, well, we have it on record now. But anyway, coming back to the game, Priest is the first man who actually did go down, and he is from UP50. And Addy seems to have gotten shot down as well. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a problem, because they're already down one man, and another one has fallen. And if HEX ReaperX are paying attention to the names, they are going to be absolutely sure that, we've reduced the squad to a 2-man squad. Let's go and deal some damage. And, well, Addy has finally succumbed to his injuries, as Exodia is trying to rip some bullets in Mamu's direction. And, whoa, that was a little bit of a direction shift over there. And it would seem like Mamu is going to get away scot-free.
Yup, and if you see here, HEX getting those 2 early kills might give them an amazing kickstart. We have Phoenix, Kinetic, Turn, and Exodia trying to, put some bullets across their opponents. And right now, Team 11 had to back off. I think Team 11 went for a split drop for among between the containers and the City, I'm not really sure why would any team do that, because it's very difficult to give any kind of cover fire when your players are split between the city and the containers. But looking at STALWART Esports, I think XP, with the hackers getting banned and the cheaters getting out, we might get to see an entirely different competitive side today, because we never know how many teams were turned out to be unlucky and fell prey to the hands of those hackers.
We were actually joking about it last time when we saw it unfold in front of our eyes, and you were like, wait a second, how did he spot him? I was like, hey, dude, maybe he's curving bullets like in that one movie, which I can't recollect the name right now. But, these kind of things do happen, and it is unfortunate, but I love the fact that we are back at it again. And again, a round of applause and a shout out to all the teams who are on your screens right now for making sure that, they do not take advantage of any mischievous activity. And looks like STE, the boys from STALWART Esports, they might want to pick a fight, as they are now making their way towards Western Georgia Paul. And again, we want to see some bullets fly. And have a look, Thug. We actually have a team in the military base this time, and it is none other than XSpark. Probably the crowd favorites right now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Team XSpark, the crowd favorites, the tournament favorites, the way they have played, the kind of skill set that they have shown. I think no team is as close. I've said it before, I'll say it once again. No team in this PMCO is even close to the kind of gameplay that Team X has shown. And if I'm not wrong, they had a good lead, but then those points tables have been reset. They don't really matter anymore. And right now what we're getting to see is a fresh start where teams are fighting out for the seeding today.
And talking about the fresh start, of course, Thug did just mention this. Let me just update all of you watching right now. So the points have been reshuffled. Today's games are for seeding. And what do we mean by seeding? So basically, all the teams right now on your screens, the 21 teams, are going through to the semi-final. However, we're going to try and make sure that, we evenly spread out the teams along their caliber. Basically, the higher you rank, the first you go into certain groups. Now, Thug, it's like a double-edged sword, and I'll tell you why. Because, chances are that, since you've got a fixed spot in the semi-finals, I might think that I'll play okay today and get a lower ranking and hopefully get a better group. But then that means that I won't get the experience of fighting against the best of the best in the semi-finals, and that might actually hinder my performance in the finals. Do you think, do you agree with what I'm trying to say right over here?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that a reset or something definitely changes the mindset entirely. And this is where teams need to, ensure that, Team XSpark, they are starting fresh, and they are starting, at a entirely different grouping and stage. So I believe that this should not hinder their their performance, given the fact that ultimately it's gonna be for top 5. Now we know MYM is a great lineup. We know AZTECS is a good squad, but we do not know. In fact, it is very difficult to follow how many times they fell into prey on the hands of those hackers or cheaters. Now this is where things would change. What if the last circle we are seeing XSpark going against Mayhem, AZTECS, and a couple of other teams that are good ones, and that is where the real test of XSpark would come. I would not take away the applause from the hands of XSpark, wherein they performed really well, but still, what if the other teams were unlucky? And this is where I want to see now XSpark coming up with that same kind of domination that we saw them. What do you think about it?
Thug, I've had the pleasure of casting with you for the last 4 days, and on day 5, I will say that you are in my mind, because you exactly stole what I wanted to say. I totally 100% agree with you over there. And again, since the level is going to be a level playing field today, I think we might see some better action. But right now, AZTECS, they were trying to pepper some bullets in the direction of the enemy, but none of them connected, and it looks like they have a stronghold on this compound right now, which is going to be interesting, as we are still in the first circle heading towards the second circle, which let's see if it actually does a drastic shift, because we haven't really seen a lot of ping-ponging from the zone, so to speak. We've always seen them form concentric circles. I want to stop that today, Thug. I want to see just haphazard zones going left, then right, and making sure that every team is on the move.
Yeah, every team is on the move, and also every team needs to work hard to make their way into the center circle. We have seen results quote in favor of teams who were able to make it, who had the center of the circle at the very beginning of the game, because like you mentioned, the circles were going concentrically small. So in the sense that team did not really have to make move. If you remember, LS, that particular game in Sanhok, where I made a prediction that where Bhishma is holding it's a great IGL move, and their last
the
circle
quarry,
and
the compound next to the quarry.
in which we had Reckless, the last guy from RL, move out in the open, picking one off. So we have seen those kind of games happen. I don't really want to see such kind of moves because we have some great liners. We have LS. We completely forgot about LS. We forgot about Insane. Looking at the way these teams played in the first week, we were quite disappointed. But I think things are gonna change right now.
Definitely, and let's have a look and see where the circle is going to take us. Kind of safe, and all the teams on the eastern or the western edge, I beg your pardon, are now going to have to move in, and that is going to be quite exciting. And I think we might see a lot of action at the ruins and possibly some gunfights and firefights breaking out in the streets of Pochinki. But what is going to stand out right now is have a look at how everyone is trying to go towards the center of the circle, and we have a little bit of a face-off over here between FALLENangelz and Team Insane. Now, Team Insane, they didn't have the best of starts in this tournament. However, the last day was pretty phenomenal and commendable, and actually, everyone was happy that finally a team with such high caliber players is finally showing up to the fold. But again, the fact that it's 11 playing field today, I'm excited to see how they tackle the new situation, as Fallen Bloodfire is going to retreat to his vehicle. And I'm pretty sure Insane's IT Prince is just trying to fire some shots, just to kind of get Fallen out of their little enclosed space over there. And we have action right off over here between Team ESN and HEX ReaperX, with Wang OP laying down some lead in the enemy's direction.
Right, and we have ESN right now. Hex could be in a lot of trouble. ESN, Wang OP. We have seen actually another one of these players from Team ESN. He has a good gun power, a good gun skill. We get to see a good show of gun skill from him. But right now, ESN could be another team that we might get to see as front runners, because from all I can recall, I know there's been a good break, and I don't really recall the points table, but ESN were a good side. Also talking about Hex, they took those 2 kills early on and they moved around school.
Yeah, talking about ESN, I do believe they did show us glimpses of brilliance, if you remember, but they were kind of placed at the bottom of the table. But again, like you said, they're a good team, and now it's all even Stevens, and ain't no cheating, ain't no nothing like that happening over here. So I think that is what PUBG Mobile Esports is all about, and now it's all the gentlemen and all the ladies who are going to be doing all the talking with their skills and nothing else. So that is, of course, something exciting. But MYM, it looks like Sensei took a few shots while migrating to their new spot, and I think they like this little dip over here. They might just park their vehicles and make some haven for themselves. However, it would seem like Cloak has other ideas, as they do have a team behind them in the form of AZTECS Esports, who are in fact laying down some lead in their direction. However, I think they're going to make it and cover in the nick of time. Meanwhile, on our screens right now, LF might go up against Nalayk, and that was a beautiful Mayur for the win with the Card 98 headshot. I want to see some bolt action. Make them.
Yeah, I know.
Make sure
you
that
want to get excited. You want to see those arm shots, those classy arm shots hitting right between the eyes. And here we have MVP trying to push in, and we have 1 player all down. Fallen has fallen down, and we have 3 players from Fallen. Vishu is out there in the open, and he will definitely get picked off. That's an M762 Spush OP. Putting up some sprays, but he went out in the open. That was a little bit of an amateur move, but right now Fallen definitely seems in a lot of trouble. We have only Clutch surviving, an MVP with 2 people down. I'm not really sure what MVP is gonna. Okay, they just have 1 player down, and they still have 3 players up.
They actually do have 3 players up, and let's see if Clutcher can actually live up to his name and cross the situation, because Tango and Prashant are moving in, whereas Mayur is going to get picked up by his team, and I think Clutcher is going for that revive as well. I see him really close to Kirito. Whether that's going to be a good decision or not, we're going to have to find out. Meanwhile, Prashant is going to make sure that Vishu is going to bite the dust and meet his maker. Now, Clutcher and Kirito have a lot of pressure on their shoulders, as Bloodfire is still knocked out towards the right of your screens, just getting out of our picture right now. I think there's going to be no hope for him, although the enemy is kind of oblivious of the fact that he is over there. Now, we might actually move into this barn house as Tango goes up the stairs and he gets taken down by Clutcher with that boost. You don't want to do that, and Kirito comes in and gets a knock on Prashant, after which he does get knocked out in turn by Mayur. So it's all going to be on one man's shoulders, but it is not going to be enough, as FALLENangelz are going to be the first team to be eliminated from this game. And, well, it looks like MVP, they still have the work cut out, as UP50 are moving in for the kill.
Yes, I mean, like, the way these boys have played, MVP was in a lot of trouble. The FALLENangelz tried to retaliate really well, But then MVP Mayur, I think, held on to his nerves and did a great job. Now we have Sarkar and Dormammu trying to move in. They have 1 kill, but they're down to 2 men. So I'm not really sure if it's a great idea moving into a team that is high on their adrenaline right now after wiping a squad out.
I mean, absolutely. And woo, over here, Sparsh with that M762 again, getting a knock over here. Grenade can be devastating. I think you might hear it in time, but that grenade was not very well lobbed. And Sarkar is finally going to go down. Luckily, MVP Sparsh did not get obliterated by that grenade that was thrown in by Mamu, or Door Mamu, as you mentioned. I did not see that door earlier, but I like calling him Mamu. I don't know, calling him Mamu kind of just feels tougher for some reason. You know, the whole slang over there in Mumbai, but we're not going to get into that right now. But on our screens right now, we're going to be joining a fight between MCYS as they were laying down some lead in the opposite direction, and Sparsh OP is going to come under fire. Mamu goes out on a one-on-one situation. Unfortunately, he is going to be not enough for this, and UP50 are going to be following suit in the 13th position. But Thug, what a wonderful response by MVP. They took down one squad, then took out another. We'll come to that in a second as MCYS Ignite is laying down some lead in Team Insane's direction, and I see a couple of them are knocked out, and Puwali, he's knocked out too. Where is the rest of Insane?
I mean, like, XP, I've been following I follow the competitive scene off and on the official tournaments. Insane has been performing really well in some of the third-party tournaments. But I don't know what's going wrong with Insane when it's the biggest ground. I mean, like, they are playing excellently well against the bigger known teams, the bigger names. But here, when they have, seemingly easier teams to fight against, Insane seems to be going down. We have Shockwave, the last surviving guy. Let's wait, watch, and see how it turns out.
I like what Shockwave is doing, though. He's trying to just slide his way away from the scene of the crime. And, of course, the opposition is going to be looking for him in his previous location. And he does have that little bit of a hill, a downslope that he can actually work with and make sure he doesn't get spotted out. Of course, MCYS are making sure they pick up their teammates as well. So the question is he going to pick a fight? Is he going to be a daredevil and lob a grenade in that smoke, hoping against all odds to get a connect? Wait a second, he is going to get a knock on Rambo as Zark is going to be coming in as well, but he gets spotted out, and Shockwave with 2 insane knocks in quick succession. That is going to be problematic for MCYS. Ignite is now going to be coming on the left flank as far as Shockwave is concerned. As he's been spotted, Shockwave moves out, tries to get a few shots in. Ignite and Shockwave both have an idea where the opponents are and who is going to go down first. Shockwave switches to the M4. He is going to jump. He is not going to jump. He gets 3 knocks over here, and Dark is the last man standing for the opponent team. And we were just talking about Insane, mate. Shockwave is definitely making some shockwaves right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like, the way Shockwave played it out, he gave some hopes to Insane getting in those 3 to 4 early points, because right now, after Puwali, they got an IT Prince going down. So I think Insane did make a change in their lineup, and Ranadeep has been benched. They got coming up and taking his place. But right now, Shockwave has this opportunity to take a couple of more kills. But what I understand that Dark and Dark, both, it's a 2v1 situation for Shockwave right now. Meanwhile, we are seeing MYM going in ham on Hex.
I mean, they're just obliterating the enemy. Forget going ham. They've done them. They've dug a grave, and they made sure that the opponents are already in, as HEX ReaperX have been eliminated from this game. But all eyes are now going to be on Insane's Shockwave as he slides his way back to his previous position. He does have those vehicles for cover, and I think Dark and Zark from MCYS, if they're not careful, they might actually still think that he is on their left. Meanwhile, ESN's Ghasti is going to go down to Kiru from Lord Famine. That is going to be a confirmed kill, and Team X seem like they're picking a fight with Nalayk. And talking about Team X, I do believe they are on our screens right now. A downhill battle kind of... Wait a second. Are they picking a fight with 2 teams? They're not just content with one Thug. They are picking fights with 2 separate teams at this moment. That just goes to show that these boys are very comfortable in their skin.
Yes, and we have Shockwave in front of us, still trying to hang on for his team. He has MCYS, but gets spotted by Zark and picks him off. We have Insane getting eliminated at the 11th spot, down to top 10 teams, 35 players. Team X not able to get the skills in, but they still have the 4-man advantage. 420 OP has been picked off, and they have the hurdle of Team NY standing right in front of us. I think, okay, NY, I think that was Ninja officials, the team with the T God, Z God. I think those were those guys. But right now we have NY, and they are Team Nalayks. The Nalayks, not so Nalayk. They are down to 3 men. One of their players are knocked. 0 points, but I still believe that they are creating a lot of trouble for Team X.
I'm pretty sure the mothers would be really happy that you just said that they are not so Nalayk after all. And that is something, again, that is just part of our culture, right? At every single point, no, not every single point, at one point or the other, I'm pretty sure you and I have been through the same thing, been called that. But anyway, coming back to the game, Team X now facing off against Nalayk. And Dark God is going to be eliminated from this game, and that kill came courtesy of Team Mayhem, who, if you have a look, are close behind just on the north of their position if you have a look at your minimap. And this is going to be interesting because I do see Nalayk kind of getting themselves pinched in between three squads, one of them being Team X on our screens right now, and Team Mayhem, who are going to be in a position to gatekeep if the circle goes in their favor. And of course, we have Team ESN joining the fray as well, but all eyes are going to be on the circle. And where is it going to go? It has shifted north about 230 meters, and who is going to go out first? Now, Team X, they have the cards at their disposal, but the question is, can they get out willy-nilly without a scratch? As ESN Wang OP, he's going to lay down some lead in LF's direction. He switches to his weapon, gets a knock over here on LF Hotshot. That is going to be a detrimental effect on that team, and by the looks of it, he wants to take a long-range fight with another team.
Yes, I mean, like, Wang is trying to take shots in all directions, but for an instance, I thought Destro could be in a lot of trouble. Mafia tried to put some sprays, and I think it did connect a bullet, and it could have been a headshot because Destro lost 50% of his health. Here, Aditya coming up with a nade that could be just on point. Yes, Mafia takes a lot of damage, but Team X just continues their rotation. Mafia trying to connect some shots. He has an AKM and a holographic sight, but none of the shots connect, and Team X move to safe havens.
Especially if you're not going to look down your sights, that is going to be quite inaccurate, especially with that ratatatata going all over the place. But have a look at the circle. Now we have one S road, S-shaped road, kind of, bisecting the zone in half, and Sensei is going to get a knock at distance on LF Principles at DP28. Very stable at long range, and with that, Lord Fam are going to find themselves getting eliminated in the 10th position. Meanwhile, Glock over here. Like I said, Team Mayhem, they could be in a wonderful position to gatekeep a lot of enemies right now, as STALWART Esports Robin is going to find himself under fire courtesy of Cloak. Meanwhile, just on the left of Cloak in the smoke, I saw another opponent over there. The question is he going to come and bite him later on? We have to wait and find out, as Team Nalayk gets eliminated in 9th, and Zoe is also not stepping out right now. He's like, you know what, I see some enemies, I have some smoke cover, I'm going to let loose a few bullets and just hope one of them connects.
Right, and we are down to 18, 23 players, and let's see how these players are able to fight back. We have FINTOX, Explicit Royal, Ryu, and Hunt, the 4 players with 2 kills each, with 2 kills to their name. And right now, they look at a distance for a very comfortable position. All the Explicit is trying to move, and then we have Hunt trying to, with an amazing cover fire, picking off ES and Zoe, and this would give ES and FINTOX a chance to move inside the circle. We also have AZTECS, a full 4-man squad moving into the circle. I also see MYM at a very comfortable spot. Like I mentioned, XP, we are seeing all the big names coming into the last circle, and this is where it's going to be a real test of skill.
This is exactly right. It's going to be a test of skills, as Sensei gets a knock on Ryu with that DP28 again. Massive reload time, but what a weapon it is. I think Ryu is going to find that, he is not going to be able to make it to the zone, although Hunt is kind of waiting in the zone. He is deploying some smoke grenades, but I think it's going to be a little too late. And with that, Ryu is going to find himself getting kicked out of this game. However, now Hunt might need some essential med kits and utilities from him. The question is, are they going to risk that, going out in the blue and picking it up from their fallen comrade? We're going to have to wait and find out. But the zone is not really in their favor right now. They do have a few teams to take care of before they move in, one of which is Team ESN, and then we have STALWART Esports still alive and active on the right of our screens right now, just off screen over there. So we were talking about good teams in the last few circles. Team Mayhem, they have cemented their position towards the southeast of the circle, and meanwhile Robin over here is going to make sure he gets a knock on Inferno. That was actually really accurate fighting from his part, and with that, Team ESN eliminated in 8th with 6 kills.
Right, and we have Team ESN going down 6 kills. Not a bad performance by them, and same for STALWART. I think decent performance by them as well. But right now, talking about the top 6 teams, we enter the 6th circle of the game. I see a lot of teams with those 4-man squads standing up, and Team XSpark still holding ground, but XSpark hasn't been able to get those kills rolling in that we got to see in week 1. And there comes a nade that's pretty close, and yes, Sensei comes up with an amazing nade, picks up another player, Evo trying to pick up MCYS Dark, and I guess Jester would need a revive, but Evo is far away from his team. AZTECS is the last player standing, and I see an entire 4-man MYM squad trying to rush in.
I like the way they're playing, though, the way they're split up, making sure that they control all directions. Then Evo is still going to be taking a fight with AZTECS ESP on one lane as he moves in closer to the zone right now. MVP's Mayur over here laying down some lead in AZTECS ESP's direction. This grenade could be devastating, but it is thrown in the wrong direction, and that is not going to be enough. Elsewhere, I think Immortal finally finished off Destro with a grenade kill yet again. MYM are really confident with their nading right now. Another one has been lobbed. Ooh, Aditya almost losing his life over there. He did lose a lot of HP, and wait a second, talking about losing his life, another grenade comes in, finishes Destro, knocks out Aditya, and looks like XSpark are in trouble with Evo, the last man standing. I think he has been spotted by Immortal. Can he make it to the top 3? Only time will tell. Elsewhere, AZTECS are under fire by Mayu for the win with that AK just rattling off bullets, but AZTEC Rebels with a grenade of their own managed to knock out Team INGL in the 5th position with a very impressive 8 kills.
Right, and looking at the way they are playing, I think we might get to see a really good performance from them here on. But right now, MYM just looks so strong. Cloak, Immortal, Manav, and Sensei. And look at Manav, 6 kills to his name. And I think MYM got this one. It's a 4v3v, 2v2 situation. Team XSpark still hanging on, but then they need to go back and think and definitely need to discuss what went wrong in this game, because it's the first time we are seeing XSpark make it to the last circle with just 1 kill. AZTECS also with 1 kill, and even they might need to think about their tactics.
Absolutely, they do need to reassess their tactical prowess later on, but it looks like everything is going in Team MYM's direction right now. But if you have a look, FINTOX are the ones with the zone right now. However, they are going to come under heavy fire from all directions as AZTECS gets a knock on Explicit, if I'm not wrong, and Evo might actually have an angle on him as well. Now, that is good trigger discipline. He wants to make sure he gets the kill and doesn't expose his position, so he did not fire right then. But Satan over here trying to get yet another knock on FINTOX, who are under heavy fire from Team MYM as well. It's going to be 2 teams crowding up on one, and that is what you call bullying. A grenade has been lobbed. I think Mighty might just be in the zone. Ooh, I love the way MYM are rushing into the spot, and have a look at how much HP Cloak lost. That is that little thing. You know, when you just press that exit button a second too soon and you go flying out of the car, that's what happens. But I guess he's lucky that he didn't get knocked down.
Right, and looking at the way MYM and Cloak, Manav, Immortal, and Sensei, they are playing 13 kills, and it could be a great start for them. We have Evo trying to survive, but I think that's gonna be the end of Evo. Even if he tries to connect a shot, no, Sensei spots him and tries to pick him off. It's a 4v1 situation, and obviously MYM will be looking to close it with 16 kills. It's up to Satan if he wants to give the kill or stay outside the circle. Satan still trying to hold it up. He comes up with a grenade, but no, I think that's not gonna connect.
Oh, well, with that, winner chicken dinner of game 1 goes to the mighty Team Mayhem. Again, we saw that we knew that we're going to see some changes in the meta today, and that is exactly what happened. And well, Thug, I think it comes as no surprise as one of the crowd favorites is emerging victorious from the first game of this seeding day. So kudos to Team MYM, and XSpark, you were right. We haven't seen them in the last circle with just 1 kill.
Yeah, I mean, like XSpark with 1 kill, that is something that is interesting and would be like, you know, it would something that's just different from what we have seen. And like we said, we might get to see a lot of different things happening this week. Right now we have the MVP, and that's Manav coming with the 7 kills.
7 kills, 864 points of damage. Now, these boys were not at all quiet, and I like the fact that they really use the zone to their advantage. They didn't overextend at any point, especially when I thought, you know, maybe they can actually go in for those kills, but they wanted to make sure that they kept their position secure so that they can gatekeep teams coming in from the south into the zone first, and after that, they just played strong, had a 4-man squad till the end. Everyone had their own jobs and their own direction they were looking at, and in the end of the day, that's what winners are made of. So the first game does go to Team MYM, but a good performance by the other teams as well. Now, a couple of things that kind of stand out for me is Team Insane. Now, Shockwave is pulling his weight, but what's going to happen with the rest of the team?
I mean, like, Team Insane needs to figure out their roster, because I saw them playing Rana deep in most of the tournaments, and suddenly Spray God comes in. Right now, let's discuss about the top 5 players. We have Manav, Sensei, a lot of domination we are getting to see from Mayhem up top. And then we have also MVP Mayur with those 5 kills for his team, where we saw him go ahead and wipe out FALLENangelz. We also have ES and Van Gopi. Solo Survivor tried to get in those couple of teams, and we have MVP Spurs with those 3 kills as well. So for me, I have seen a lot of good gameplay coming out from MVP and obviously Mayhem, who have stolen the show entirely.
They have stolen the show, and MVP, or I do believe Team INGL as they're called, which is kind of funny because INGL, MVP, forget it. We'll just call them the most valuable players. But anyway, they did good this game. They did good. And, we just saw the kill leaders right now from this game. And a lot of those names are what you expect to see up on this podium after a game like this, because over the last 4 days, we've seen them actually clutch it time in and time out for their teams. But I wonder what's going to happen next game. Is it going to be the same thing, or are we going to see something different?
Yeah, definitely. Because I believe that we got to see a very different kind of game that we don't really get to see. But right now, with with stats getting reset, we have Team Mayhem stats coming up in front of us, where with Manav, those 7 kills, 864 damage, 5 knockouts, Immortal, 1 kill, 270 damage, and Cloak, 2 kills and 351 damage. What do you make out of that?
I mean, they're working as a team, first of all. I like the fact that everyone is doing their job. It's not all about kills. It's not all about who does the most damage. That is what it's all about. After all, it is a team game. You are a 4-man squad, and you're only as, you're only weakest. The only problem is going to be your weakest link. So you're only as strong as your weakest link is what I was trying to say, but I fumbled it up. Again, it's been 3-4 days we haven't talked, so I'm finally talking to someone now. I've actually been pretty much quarantined this time around, so that's kind of funny. But anyway, we have the team standings on our screens right now. Everything is reset, and Team Mayhem are going to be leading the charge with an impressive 15 kills. 35 kill chicken dinner once again. We're off to a good start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're definitely off to a good start if we get to see in favor of Mayhem, and also AZTECS coming up with a decent show in terms of position. But talking about teams like Team INGL, 8 kills, definitely a very dominating performance. Same for FINTOX as well. I think they had a 4th spot finish. They're coming in with those 4 kills. But FALLENangelz and Nalayk, this seems definitely to think about their positioning right now.
Nalayk did actually kind of get caught quite a few times. I thought maybe they were done in zone 2, but nah, they survived to zone 4. I thought, okay, they're definitely done now, but they managed to find their way to the 5th zone, and they did get eliminated, but yeah, they do have to work on a lot of things. FALLENangelz also getting caught out early on. UP50, in fact, with one of the first teams who lost their members right at the beginning, one of whom was in fact run over by the opposition. So a lot of changes we might see, and the fact that once they go over and see how the teams dropped around, once they do their homework, they'll be like, what, why are we going for these places when the entire map is free to loot? So I might actually see a few changes this time as far as drop spots are concerned, because you got to remember, Thag, 3 maps of Erangel today, 1 is done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, teams that face any kind of problems will realize that we just have 14 squads in play right now, so we have a lot of spots in Erangel to take those drops. And if they felt any kind of problem with their rotations, with the hot drops, I'm definitely, like you said, I'm definitely certain as well that we might get to see some changes coming in game 2, because 3 Erangels, teams know that they don't need to make a big shuffle, but then it's just gonna be normal reading from game 1 and implementing a better planning in game 2.
Well, I think we've kind of made our points. We want to see something new in the second game. What about you guys watching at home? Do you think it's going to be the same, or do you think we're going to see a little change? And Thag, of course, you are the general master over here. Let me know one thing. I want you to give me a little prediction, but we're going to come to that after maybe a short break if we have something in store for our viewers.
Yeah, I think we will push to a short break, but we still have some little more time, so I think we can discuss about the prediction.
All right, let me ask you that question right now. All right. Now, we've seen Mayhem come in and win the first chicken dinner. We saw XSpark survive in the last circle. Now, LegStump, if I'm not wrong, is going to be playing the next game.
Right.
Question is, are they going to make it to the top 3, or are they going to fizzle out in the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see LegStump coming out on top this week, because we have seen LegStump with a very, casual performance coming within the opening week. But right now, things have reset. They got a fresh start. They got a second chance, they got a second breather, and they need to make sure that they capitalize and ensure the best come out of it.
Before we do go to a break, let me ask you guys watching at home a question. So this decision was made by PUBG Mobile, and I'm sure a lot of you have your opinions, but what do you think? Let us know in the chat right now. Do you think it was a good thing done by PUBG Mobile, or do you think that, they kind of left it a little too late? I think it's a brilliant move, because, again, it's unprecedented that such quick action takes place on a big stage like this, Thug, and it's difficult monitoring so many people.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, but then this is why we say PUBG Mobile Esports is growing and we are moving towards becoming a tier 1 esports. But let's quickly hop into the break and we're gonna be right back after a short break.
Hello and welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2020 Indian Edition. We have a lot of action in store for you over the next couple of weeks and more drama than your favorite TV shows. Anyway, my name is Angad Singh Chahal. I go by The Experiment. With me is 8-bit Thago, Animesh Agarwal. Animesh, one match down, two more to go. Ooh, I just can't wait to get jumped right in the action.
Yeah, definitely. We have two more Erangels coming up. I think it's a lovely day of competitive gaming. We are getting to see just Erangels. I just love Erangel. I mean, like, I love the mechanism that we get to see from teams. I love the perfection that we get to see from them. And yes, let's talk about the flight path XP.
Well, looking at the flight path, we are heading in the opposite direction from the last game, and we are going to be flying from the Sosnovka military base all the way to Kameshki. And the flight path is towards the east of the map, and I do believe we're going to see some more vehicular manslaughter right at the beginning, as teams are going to be drastically trying to get in their vehicles and make their way to those offshore, long-distance locations where they want to drop. I mean, if I was on the plane right now, I'm pretty sure I would take a car and drive up to the Georgia Paul containers. What about you?
I mean, like, if I would have had this kind of flight path, I think I would have gone to Novorep or military, depending upon the kind of lobby that we have. But right now, it's interesting to see Nalayk trying to contest Team XSpark, and this is a brave move, I must say.
This is a brave move indeed. I think it's all going to come down to where the zone is going to form. And if I can be a little bit of I'm not going to predict because the last few times it's been absolutely wrong. But have a look at the circle. It's going to be on the main island as well. This time slightly shifted a bit towards the east. So we have a lot more water in play. And of course, we have Milta Power and the power plant down there towards the south. Now, that used to be my favorite location when I first started this game. And it's been quite a while. I haven't seen a few final circles end in that direction.
Right, and we have Insane, I mean, like, just for a moment, I saw Team Insane having a hot drop with Team 7 and 15. I'm not really sure which team those numbers are, but right now, Insane could be in a lot of trouble, and it's Nox who is in trouble with Nox and Hex going for that vehicle fight, but luckily both of the teams ended with their set of vehicles, and right now we have Insane getting hold of one of the players from ESN. I think it's Wang, and Puwali is going ham on Wang, but he has a shotgun. Puwali needs to be careful, because if he connects one of those shotgun shells, I think Puwali is going down.
That is absolutely right, but Puwali has an Uzi as well, so they've both got good weapons for this close-range engagement. Who is going to come out on top? Puwali, of course, has more HP and a good sound sense on both these lads. I think Puwali is going to make sure that he spots the enemy before Wang OP does, but let's have a look and see what his plan of action is going to be. He does have 10 bandages, but again, you don't want to get shot out, and over here he's going to pick up that M16, make sure that he leaves nothing for his enemies, as I'm pretty sure he is going to be moving out of this house sooner or later. But what's surprising is both these teams have just one single member in this location, and have a look at the map. You might see a few more tens pop up in your minimap soon enough, as it does look like Team Insane's Puwali has called for backup. Now the question is Wang OP going to do something impossible over here? I think he is going to be cooking a grenade. Both of them are cooking grenades. What would your suggestion be? I think especially since, it's taking so long for either one to make a move, and I'm pretty sure backup is on the way. I would want to try and get out of there or get the kill and move on.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of them needs to make that move. If it's a move for the good or the bad, I don't really know. But looking at the fact that Wally has a Uzi and Wang has a shotgun, I'm not really sure if he has an S686, which is the most powerful shotgun in game. Only time to tell that, but right now I feel that this has been stretched too far, and Shockwave took off Wang OP from a distance.
That was inevitable because, of course, they have that higher ground towards the back of this house. And like I said, Wang OP left it way too late, and I think he's going to get punched to death now. They are going to have a conversation, be like, yo, bro, where your teammates at? He's like, nah, I'm not divulging that information, but his teammates are going to be elsewhere. Meanwhile, we're going to join a fight between VR1 Esports as they pick a fight with Team ESN. And Zoe's gone down. Rage almost getting knocked out, courtesy of Ghosty, if I'm not wrong. But over here, Rage is going to try and make sure he finishes the deal. That is a beautiful grenade. Rage could be in trouble. Ooh, survived by just a little HP. That was actually a very good grenade tossed in by Ghosty. Of course, Zoe knew that he was a dead man, so it's just to keep the enemy at bay. But what's going to happen now? Because Ghosty seems like he's the last man standing with his teammate on the other end of Pochinki, and the enemy is right in between.
Right. I mean, like, looking at the way VR1 and And this teams are stacked against each other at Pochinki VR1 coming into the scene. We have Punk, Rage, Deuce, and Skeleton. Glad to see Punk coming out as one of the clean players because we have seen some good good skill from him, and that's a nice nade coming from Inferno, picking Deuce off, and that's an even better nade. Okay, did the nade stay inside the house?
It's a smoke.
Yeah,
Luckily, it's a smoke.
Luckily it's a smoke. So he's trying to smoke himself up, and then we have Inferno moving in. Punk might be trying to help with that cover fire, and I think Inferno just missed by a whisker because Inferno's would have Punk would have connected Inferno's head, and Inferno might have gone down.
He might have actually gone down, and that could have been problematic for Team ESN, who are now down to 2 members, and each member is split up in the town or city of Pochinki. So the question is, again, are they going to back out and try and regroup elsewhere, or are they going to pick a fight with what they are pretty certain is a 4-man squad right between them? We're going to have to wait and find out what comes over there. But meanwhile, HEX ReaperX are going up against Nox Official, and over here we see Exodia and Phoenix laying down some lead, and Octopus is actually going to get taken down by Phoenix, as Zern is in a good spot to get a knock on SlayGod. So the way they kind of spread out and making sure that, you know, every single teammate covers different angles, that is impeccable. I love that about PUBG Mobile. I love that about teams who actually play in such a tactical manner. But now Octopus is lying in the field bleeding. He is going to get picked up with that lovely smoke as decoy. They're going to make sure that the enemy is at bay. Meanwhile, King Ankit and Mayank, they have their work cut out as the teammates are under fire, but they're in a good position to actually hit them from the back.
Right, and if we see Nox, SlayGod, King Ankit, Mayank, and Octopus, 4 players going against HEX, it's a 4v1 situation. A pretty good place up north, Gatka, to carry this fight out. There are a lot of ridges and a lot of tricky positions where these teams can hold and go for the flank angles. Right now, we're seeing 14 teams, 54 players. 2 players have already been eliminated from the lobby of 56. We have Mayank trying to connect those AKM shots. I'm not really sure how well are they going to connect. Mayank, King Ankit, SlayGod, and Octopus, all the 4 players trying to move in.
They are trying to move in, and I think Mayank might just give them information that they have an enemy in that guard tower over there. And if you see a few grenades being lobbed, that could be devastating. Meanwhile, Rage is going to be lobbing a grenade off his zone, and with that, Ghastly goes down, and we already saw their members go down earlier. They are getting punched. They're like, you know what, we are not holding back our punches, quite literally and figuratively, as the poor old enemy is basically beaten to death. But now, one last man surviving for Team ESN. Now, we were talking about ESN just a little while ago that, you know, they show us glimpses of brilliance, but sometimes they just confuse us because they had a very awkward drop. If you remember, we saw right at the beginning, one member, Wang OP, getting eliminated by Team Insane in the compound, to the west of the farm. And then the other members dropped in Pochinki, split up. So again, Thug, there's not a lot online today, as this is just a game. It's kind of like a practice match for them, isn't it? It's all about seeding. All these teams have moved forward, but I guess what you can do is you can test the opponents out. You can gauge what they're made of, right? I think that's what they should look at it as.
Right, and I mean, like, teams should have the approach that they need to not look at the name which stands right in front of them, and they just need to, I think it's more about your mental strength, your psychological position when you are engaging in a fight, when you are playing a game, when you have your high stakes running. Right now, looking at the way Insane is placed, they did pick off one from ESN, but then they are playing it very safe when it comes to pushing against Nalayk. Meanwhile, HEX fighting it outside the circle. They have 700 meters to cover. Nox being the smarter one, and not really the smarter one, as Zern comes in with the spray and picks off 2 from Nox. SlayGod and I guess one other player from Nox who goes down. King Ankit and Mayank would continue their rotation. I don't think they have an opportunity. They would have an opportunity to come back and revive Octopus or SlayGod.
Octopus and SlayGod are done for, and they left it too late, because since they did have vehicles, they had that rich cover, they could have easily gone from the right, gone from the left, and in fact they chose, just to drive past the enemy, thinking that their vehicles are going to make them invincible. Unfortunately, even vehicles can get devastated by these bullets over here, and Zern is going to punch his enemy. Nope, he takes the mutant out, one shot to the body, and that's the end for Nox's Octopus. Now, I think that could have been avoided. A, they left it way too late out in the blue, and B, they had a vehicle, they could have rotated either way. Meanwhile, forget that, ID Prince over here blowing up Nalayk's Ninja.
Yes, and talking about the way Insane is playing in this game, they got in Ghastly, they benched Spray God, so we finally have the Ghastly Shockwave duo playing it out. And I think it's the first time Insane have played Ghastly in PMCO. They are going against Nalayk. They are pushing in. Mafia dominator. It's a 4v4 situation. We have Dark God going down. Prince picking off 1, Prince picking off 2, and the remaining 2 players decide to back off completely.
They were like, nope. The moment one of them, ooh, I thought he got it. For a second, I thought Dominator went down, but that was Dark God who got finished. The moment Dark God went down, I saw, I do believe it was Mafia who was kind of coming down. He did a quick U-turn, pulling up that handbrake. He's like, nope, not today. This is a done deal. And well, Insane are actually kind of surprising me as well, as they're going out guns blazing. And yes, you did mention Ghastly and Shockwave, 2 very popular players from the past, and I want to see what these guys are going to bring to the table, because again, like you said, it's surprising that Ghastly, this is his first match today. But anyway, coming back to the fight, Inferno over here still in Pochinki. Thug, what I want to find out what's happening in Team ESN's camp, because even though they have the enemies swarming them, they don't seem to back out, which is, again, it's a good and bad thing, because I like the confidence. And you know, if he manages to get a couple of these members down, and amazingly, if he gets a squad wipe, he will go down in history. But tactically speaking, he had a lot of options to back out.
I mean, like, you know, there should be a limit on how much you can commit into a fight. But since ESN already lost 3 of their players, I don't think there's anything else left. So Inferno is left with no option. I mean, like, VR1, he's surrounded by VR1 from all sides. They did make a mistake early in the game when we saw those nades coming in. I mean, like, whenever we see 2 squads fighting it out in Pochinki, if you have an option, I would always suggest the team which gets the option to back off, to go for the back off and, you know, try to rotate. ESN Inferno takes the drop, but obviously the way he's surrounded, that's it. That's GG for ESN getting wiped out.
that is GG for ESN, out in the 14th position, but again, not a lot riding on today's matches, so pretty much the teams can just have some fun and, you know, just try new things out. I would definitely try new things out. I wonder if that is the mindset of a lot of these players. But again, you have those kind of players who want to win every single thing they go into, and that is also important. It keeps that morale high, makes sure you have momentum going into the next day. Of course, the semi-finals are going to start tomorrow, so, you know, it is a good practice session for them, but I still want to see them give it their all. And we might actually just see that, as a lot of teams are going to be congregating on the compounds just to the southeast of Yasnaya Polyana, as the zone is going to move in. Thugs, let me see your prediction. Where are we going to go this time? Left, right, up, or down?
I think we are moving a little bit up towards the right and eastward end of Yasnaya, and maybe somewhere around MVP. I'm not really sure. That's just about a prediction. But no, we go towards Lipovka, and that would make things pretty interesting, because we have around 25% of the entire circle area in the water. So we have, this means less fighting space, less ground space. Let's see how teams react to this.
Let's find out. And on our screens right now, Futurestation. Now, this is another team which has some big names in them. We have Winterstorm, Bopdob. I do believe Somraj is playing as well, but they have the enemy coming towards them now. At the edge of the circle, almost a kilometer away from the zone, we have a fight taking place, but only 25 seconds on the clock. So the question is VR1 going to eliminate Nox Gaming, or is it going to be the other way around? We're going to have to wait and find out, because Mayank and King Ankit, the last 2 members, are split up in these 2 buildings, whereas VR1 Esports have vehicles at their disposal. So again, it's all going to come down to what decision they make. Do they go in for the kill, or do they get in the vehicles, back out, and live to fight another day?
Right, and let's see how VR1 face against Nox. Nox just came in with a heavy damage coming in from HEX, where they lost in 2 players. But right now, VR1 is pushed in, and I think it's going to be a 4v2 situation. We have VR1 deuce out in the open. King Ankit takes 1. King Ankit might just take 2 down, and King Ankit finally goes down from the guns of Skeleton. Mayank trying to heal up, but I don't think that's going to be enough. But still, if Mayank decides to push and play aggressive, then they do have a chance against VR1. Right now, we have Mayank trying to take some shots, but Punk is sitting right behind, giving a cover fire, and Mayank moves in. It's an unreal situation, but he stands no chance against Punk, and Punk takes him down.
But I guess Punk is definitely feeling lucky today, and as a result of that, VR1 are going to be coming out on top of that fight, with Nox Official getting eliminated in the 12th position. Now, the question was, again, that fight was taking place in the blue, and they were a kilometer away from the new zone. The question is, are they going to make it? Do they have enough medicines? Do they have enough first aid kits? And let's see what becomes of them. We'll definitely catch them later on. But LegStump, Ooh, Madman with that beautiful M24, and I do believe he has an 8x scope on it. So I've got I don't know if you guys can see me right now, but I've got a massive smile on my face. And I always say that, but it's true. I'm actually very happy whenever I see a bolt action sniper rifle. I'm weird. I'm weird that way.
Yeah, and we have LS playing, but LS haven't been too active.
He said, yeah, so you agree that I'm weird, huh?
Yeah, you are. I mean, like, come on, XP.
Yes!
I've known you since,
Yes!
since those times. Anyways, we have
Since
Vishwa.
those times.
We have Vishwa, Madman, Syringe, and Dangi OP. Vishwa leading a charge of the young guns and trying to get his team rolling because they have had a bad start. Right now, we have MVP Tango trying to move in and picking off Nalayk, Mafia. And overall, the circle does not really look too clogged. We still have a lot of space for a lot of teams to take over. Team X 420 OP picks off one of the players from Insane.
Now, that is a fight we definitely want to watch. The big guns are fighting it out. And let's have a look at where the zone is going to go. It's going to come down towards the southwest, and we're going to head towards the prison mountain this time. So we do have a few compounds. We have a lot of high ground and a lot of tactical positions the players can kind of position themselves in as the game goes forward. But the question is, now we have two teams in Lipovka, one of which is Team Insane, and the other is XSpark. Big names, and they did get a knock earlier on 420, but I want to see how they tackle the situation. Now, they have a lot of options for them right now. If you have a look at where 420 is, they can actually get their vehicles and rotate around that hill and get in the zone towards the northeast aspect of the new circle. Or they can take them head on. Now, the question is, are they going to pick a fight or are they going to move into the zone? Because just by their side, HEX ReaperX has moved in. And you know what? They can be in a good position to kind of gatekeep them later, Thug.
Right, I mean, like, the way they have been placed, if they make a little bit of an early move, try to move a little bit uphill and hold the edge, they can actually gatekeep, but I'm not really sure if Team X would allow them because and also Hex has a clear view on Insane, and Insane could be in a little bit of a trouble, but they moved southwards. So I think they have a smart rotation. It's a really smart rotation because they are safe from one side and the other side they have the cover of the ridge. But right now, Drift OP. Oh, talking about Reckoning. Reckoning is back into the game. And we are seeing a roster without Clowny.
Now, of course, we'll bring that up later. Ooh, Exotic as he lays down some lead in the direction of FS, but Somraj is going to act quicker. That was crazy. That was just absolutely pandemonium. That was just, that was scary, to be honest. When you have three men just coming at you, hungry for blood, and that is exactly what we saw. And Futurestation now have 2 kills to their name. They still are comfortable in the zone, so they can take their time kind of looting up right now. But they do have to be content really quick as Reckoning are coming in for a fight. And Frag OP has lobbed a grenade in their direction. That is going to be just a little bit too short, but having a look at their gameplay, I won't be surprised if they rush in at the enemy, and that is exactly what's happening. Vope Dope is like, you know what, I've had enough of this. I want all the kills, I want all the glory. He is cooking a grenade. Good sound sense by him on his part. Is that going to be enough though? It is, and Noob YT is going to go down, but Noob YT gets a grenade knock on Vope Dope as well, so that's 1 for 1. They are exchanging knocks. Frag OP comes in for that revive, but have a look at his HP. He's going to have to make sure that he administers a first aid kit to himself first. Elsewhere, Team X are taking on Blitzkrieg OP, and forget taking them on, they just eliminated them in the 11th position. Whoa!
Yes, and we have another squad coming in right up, and we have Reckoning who might be going against FS, Winterstorm, Frag OP, and Somraj. This boys could be in a lot of trouble, but then it's only about one grenade getting into hitting right on target inside the shack, and the entire team going down. But right now, we'll have to wait, watch and see. And yes, there comes that nade pushing the team out. And yes, Noob YT comes out, but then more nades coming in. And it's going to be FS. An easy wipe for FS Winterstorm, taking out Reckoning, going down at the 10th spot. Right now, we have VR1. Good amount of kills, 5 kills, 3 men alive, holding a good spot inside the circle. But let's not forget, we have XSpark and Insane sitting at the top 4-man squads, 4 and 3 kills each.
Well, we're definitely going to watch out for them, but it looks like Futurestation are on a rampage right now, Thug. The way they just rushed off 2 teams in quick succession, knocking them out and making sure they get the job done, those boys are definitely feeling confident, and that's what we love to see. We want to see this confident gameplay from all our participants. But Punk, he has been very instrumental, very active for his team, as he's got 3 kills out of the team's total of 5. Now, that is obviously an amazing, amazing number. More than 50% of the kills are coming by his way. That is something that, you know, you can absolutely right home about. But Team Insane, now they have 3 kills to their names, all 4 members alive. I want to see what these boys are going to bring to the table as they're now trying to rotate towards the higher points in the map. But I love this. I love this. So what they're doing right now is they want to go to the western edge of the circle. They're going to drive all the way around the prison complex and make their way towards the western edge, which is pretty much going to be unoccupied. But it's a risky move as all of them are very low on HP, driving drastically to the zone. Oh, ID Prince gets knocked out, but they made it. They finally made it, but the zone is still on the move. This move can actually be devastating for them. I think it's the end for IT Prince.
Yeah, I mean, like, it could be the end for Insane, but Puali and Ghastly seems to have healed up, but it depends upon VR1 if they're able to take those shots coming from top. But yes, the circle shifts towards the western side. A lot of teams will have to move in. Team X needs to make that rotation, and they might get to face LS on top. But LS right now has moved straight up into Team NY, if I am not wrong. I think it's yes, and also Team X is in a lot of trouble with HEX coming in ham. LS moved into MVP and wiped out MVP entirely. It's INGL.
INGL is out of this game, and is it going to be HEX or is it going to be X? You let us know in the comments right now, because HEX is going up against X, and I'm going to keep saying that so that it confuses you, but I'll stop that right now. Evo gets a knock over here. Exodia is in trouble. Destro moves to a little bit of a left flank, gets a knock on Kinetic, and he moves suddenly to the right, but his teammate is going to be there, and Evo is going to make sure he gets that last kill on Zern, and Punk coming in for the kill over here. Two teams just collided with one another at the shark over here. Who is going to come out on top? It's VR1 Esports up against LegStump. LegStumps are 1 man down. Forget that. They are wiped out. We are one on fire right now with 9 kills to their names as LegStumps gets eliminated in the 6th position. Thug, these boys are just playing all out aggressive right now, and you know what? I love it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what the teams have decided, that they need to ensure that this is a fair ground that has been given to them, and now they need to ensure that they're their best, and we are getting to see the best of the best teams right now in India from the tier 2 circuit, making it to the PMCO. Right now we have XSpark with those 8 kills, even Aita surviving. It's a 3v2v2v2v situation, pretty much balanced given the fact that we have VR1 setting with
do that against what situation is it, Thug?
I think it's all about that flow. It's all about that flow.
I loved it. I loved it. It was 3-2-2. I'm like, whoa! And he's actually right. I'm sorry to take your point, but that was beautiful.
Yeah, and then we have Skeleton, Punk, Rage. These guys are outside the circle, but then they have a good height advantage. They need to get some knocks to pave their way inside the circle.
They do actually need a few knocks to make their way in. And talking about knocks, Rage over here is going to get knocked out by the Mini 14 courtesy of Somraj. Now I'll say one thing clearly. Futurestation have really impressed me this game. They are actually stepping up to the plate and they are getting the job done. But Team X are in trouble as they are on that little bit of a dip. They do have those smokes deployed, but I do believe they might not have vehicles. And they are just outside the zone, and the zone is pretty much in the open. So now smoke grenades are going to be your best friends, as Aditya over here is trying to get a few lucky shots into that wall of smoke right on the opposite direction. But he's got to be careful, because VR1 Esports might be in a good position to kind of shoot at their backs. But it looks like Skeleton is going to make sure he picks up his teammate Punk, as Aditya is still rattling off bullets in Optimum Esports direction. But the zone has moved in, and it can go either way right now. I think Optimum Esports are quite done for, but then Team X need to move in as well.
Right, and you know, the way Team X is playing, I think they might just be able to make it into the very end. But Optimum G Bash has definitely spotted Aditya and Evo, and this could be a lot of trouble for Aditya, depending upon the way Evo tries to give him a cover. But no, Bash knows about the position of both of these players, and he would just want to move in. He might just want to close in, and Aditya picking off Critic even after Optimum knew their position. This is an interesting move coming into Aditya. 1 kill for his team already. And then we have Optimum G Bash trying to pick off Somraj. Bash is trying to do a lot of things for his team, but unable to convert. And it's Somraj along with Aditya tag teaming against Optimum G Bash.
Yes, sir. And with that, Optimum Esports around in the 5th position with a good 6 kills to their names. We are down to the last 4 teams and only 7 players alive. Ooh, this can go either way, as only a couple of teams have 2 members each. I think there's going to be a solo lad somewhere in the midst, but this is exciting. We have Team X up against Futurestation, up against Team Insane. And if I'm not wrong, we do have... wait a second. Aditya, has he got a nade kill? I think he knows the enemy is in that shack or just behind it. One grenade could be devastating. And have a look at that. There's an airdrop falling in the zone right now, just giving that little bit of hope to people that, you know, if you want a bigger weapon or if you're out of armor, come to me. But again, all the crosshairs are going to be in that direction, as I do believe one of the teammates from Futurestation might actually be heading that direction. Ooh, Aditya's definitely going to get spotted out. Somraj again with his notorious mini 14. Can he get that knock as Evo stands up trying to get a knock on him? But both teams are going to be content with just doing some damage.
Right, and looking at the way Winterstorm and Somraj were trying to fare, and we have XSpark getting eliminated at the 4th spot. A lot of damage in terms of placement position points. I guess they just lost 12 additional points, but still a good game for them with those 10 kill points. And we have Winterstorm and Somraj still trying holding their ground. There, Winterstorm has his scope pinned to Punk, and he won't allow Punk to take a peek. But right now, they need to be careful about a bigger, I think, threat that's insane. Wally and Ghastly, who have a little bit of height advantage against FS. It's a 2v2v1 situation, and we have Punk, who has the highest ground, but then he definitely lacks one another teammate that could have come handy in here.
Well, I guess what's going to work in his favor is if Futurestation actually go up against Team Insane first, which very might be in the works right now. Because look at the way they have a garage right over here. Winterstorm are 2 players. However, they have 4 vehicles at their disposal. That is just amazing. I wonder if one of them is going to come back and get another vehicle in pocket. That'll be pretty cool. But anyway, they are making their fortifications in the new zone next to a tree, enough of smoke cover. They've got their vehicles, which they might destroy soon enough. But Punk, he does have that little bit of a depth to work with, so he should be in a safe position for now. I do believe it's going to be Ghastly who's going to get the first shot on Winterstorm, but they've got to be careful and have a look at what Somraj is doing. He's just chilling in his vehicle.
Right, and looking at the way Somraj, Winterstorm, they are faring against their teammates. We have Puvali and Ghastly sitting right inside the circle. I think all the 5 players are inside the circle. It could go either ways if FS goes against Insane and VR1 Punk tries to execute the perfect third party. But then, yes, it's not really easy to do that when you have players like Puvali, Ghastly, and also Winterstorm and Somraj, experienced players still staying alive right in front of you. We are 7 circles into the game, 26 minutes and a half. And we don't see any much movement from any of these teammates. They are just trying to play it safe, just want to ensure that they get their chicken dinner and they don't miss that extra additional points, placement points for a minor mistake of theirs.
I like the way Somraj is actually using that vehicle just to get a little bit of a height advantage, a little bit of a third-person perspective advantage, trying to scope out for any hidden snakes in the grass. That is something that we've seen quite a lot happening recently, and looks like FS's position, of course, everybody knows where this team is. They have the vehicles, they have all that smoke being deployed constantly, but have a look at how Ghastly is trying to move in on their right flank. I think Winterstorm might have an idea, but it's going to be a little bit of a shocking move if Ghastly actually gets up and lays down a few bullets in their direction. Meanwhile, Punk is also in a good spot. Ooh, that is going to do a lot of damage, and Storm has taken quite a big hit, losing a lot of his HP, but Ghastly is going to be, again, he's in a wonderful spot, and Somraj, in fact, they're moving their vehicles. Puvali lobs a grenade. That looks like it could be a good grenade. Somraj might be in a world of trouble right now if that explosion takes place near him. However, by the look of things, it's going to be just a little too short. And Punk, on the other hand, now, again, we can all speculate over here, but only one team is going to come out on top. It can honestly go either way right now. Any one of these teams can walk away with a chicken dinner.
Yeah, I mean, like, whenever I've seen a 2v2v1 situation, I generally see it goes in the most unexpected way, and we have Somraj going down. Insane has that man advantage, but no, Punk comes in and he picks up Ghastly. He moves in to pick up Puvali as well, and there's gonna be one guy, Winterstorm, trying to pick off I think VR1 Punk, and it's a 1v1 situation. Like I said, XP, always I have seen things go completely surprising, but towards the end we had I think VR1 getting that chicken dinner, and Punk stood up. I was talking about their XP and it actually happened.
I mean, we just called it out that this can happen, that can happen, this can happen, and that's exactly what happened. I had a feeling Somraj was going to be the first one because Ghastly was in a beautiful position at that flank towards the back. No idea. He shoots him, but then Punk gets him from across, and Punk, I think, did a brilliant job. Well done to the team for actually getting that chicken dinner. 7 or is it 8 kills to the lad's name, getting VR1 Esports right on top. What a game. What a final circle, Thug.
Yeah, I mean, like 8 kills, 957 damage, highest survival time, and obviously a decent distance covered to make those flank angles. This man stood up for his team and did such a great job. I mean, like surviving until the very end, going against Insane and FS, two really good squads, and winning it for his team. I think he just got his team additional 10 points. I think additional 13 points. He took 3 kills alongside a 10 additional placement points. 13 additional points coming out from the hands of VR1 Punk.
Well, the Punk is definitely feeling lucky. Again, I'm making all these movie references. If you guys watching at home know what I'm talking about, just type it in the chat. It's a Clint Eastwood movie where he says, "Do you feel lucky, Punk?" Let me see if you guys actually know this. But anyway, it's a classic. Coming back to the game, what a game it was. And let's have a look at the top 5 players from the second game on day 5. Punk, of course, leading the charge, miles ahead of anyone else with 8 kills, almost double. Well, it is double than what Critic 07 had, 4 kills to his name, as Somraj, Rage, and Puvali all are going to be content with 3 kills each. But all in all, I like the fact that big names are stepping up. Team Insane showed us they're made of something. LegStump, Thug, were doing pretty well initially until they got devastated by the enemy rushing at them. And VR1, again, amazing aggression by these boys today.
VR1 is showing a very good skill set. I think the gameplay that we're going to see from VR1 could be compared to some of the top tier teams that are playing in this PMCO. I mean, like this team would be on my team to look out for the remaining of the PMCO, because I want to see them make it to the top 5 and fight against the elites making it into the PMPL. The way this game went, I definitely have concerns about LS, because LS had a really good spot, but then that once again LS failed to capitalize on their positioning, failed to capitalize on their gunpowder, and failed to capitalize on their experience.
I guess, yes, gunpowder and experience is something we'll talk about, but let's just have a look at VR1 Esports for a quick second. Of course, you all can have a look at these stats. We just went over them a moment ago. But yeah, coming to LegStump, you know, that little collision that they had at that one shack. So both teams kind of moved in at the same time. But yes, I guess I see where you're coming from, that, you know, that experience should have done it. But again, man, it's all about, you know, this country has so much untapped potential that, you know, a person can be unknown one day and the next day he can be a legend. It's all about what you do with your skills, what you do with your game and all that. And looks like we have some new boys in town, and Punk is definitely one to watch out for.
Definitely, and I mean, like VR1 Punk making his team get those 32 points, and Futurestation, a great stuff by them as well with those 19 points. XSpark overpowering Insane with their kills and 10 kills to XSpark's name, giving them 18 points at the 3rd slot. But Insane, 10 placement points and 6 kill points. This game could have gone their ways, but Insane would definitely sit back and think what went wrong for them.
I mean, they had everything going for them, but of course, Punk over there coming in and toppling their victory parade. But in 5th position, Optimum Esports, a good game for them. We're finally seeing them stand up high in the leaderboard. And at the bottom now, Team ESN, again, a lot of questions for this team as to how they dropped. Now, like we said before, not a lot rides on these games, but I guess they're just having fun, isn't it? They don't want to give their game plan or tactics away, but looking at what we've seen so far, it's not really working for them.
Yeah, it's not really working for them, and they definitely need to work on it, because from what I understand, they are a good side, they're a big side. They need to ensure that, you know, the fans that are counting on them to make it into a PMP, and they want to see them fight in the bigger level, in the bigger competition. I think these teams need to step up. But yes, we still have one more game to do and one more game to go, and our audience did not forget that this is just seeding round. It won't have any major impact on the tournament, to be honest. It's more about just which team gets grouped alongside which teams. Talking about the overall standings, we have Mayhem sitting on top with just 1 game, 35 points, and VR1 making it to the top as 2nd position as well with those 32 points. XSpark are done with their 2 games, and I don't think they are going to go for the 3rd one, because each team gets a share of 2 games. 30 points to their name. INGL with 20 points as well. Insane with those 19 points in 2 games, averaging at 9.5. Futurestation, AZTECS, Optimum, they still have a game to go, and I see them overtaking a couple of teams on top.
Again, you know, you said that not a lot is on this. Not a lot of weight on these games today. But that's the best thing for all our viewers right now, as I'm sure this could have been done offline. Thug. It's a seeding match. It's not, it's not a big deal. But I love the fact that PUBG Mobiles, you know what, we are still going to entertain all the people in this quarantine and make sure that everyone is entertained. Of course, PUBG Mobile, like I said, is a household name now, right? And trust me when I say we have more action, more drama, more gossip than some of your favorite soap operas. And if only we could divulge some information, but we can't. I'm making all this up, by the way. I'm only joking. Maybe not. Thug would know better. But again, all these stats on your screens, it's not the end of the world for the teams at the bottom. But I do believe it's a good way for them to gauge all the other enemies, kind of test the waters out, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a good reality check talking about teams like Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg is with that one game and one game point. These are teams that you need to work. I did not see Blitzkrieg going down. I don't know.
Team X wiped them out.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, like Blitzkrieg did go down, but then these are some good star-studded teams. They have some really good veterans from the PUBG Mobile scene. So I do expect a lot of these teams, and I believe that in the last game that like a couple of teams, I think 16 of these teams have another game, another shot to ensure that they are best placed for the seedings. But we'll have to wait, watch, and see because we still have one more game to go, and that's gonna be another game of Erangel.
Erangel once again, and I'm pretty sure I'm excited for it. All the people watching at home are going to be excited because it's a map you can watch again and again and again because it's the most common map. It's the most popular map in PUBG Mobile. But questions. I wonder if the playing path is going to be different, and I wonder if I'm going to focus on Team ESN right now. Are they going to do the same thing again? Are they going to split up and drop in and around Pochinki and then pay the ultimate price, or is it going to be different this time?
I mean, like we'll have to wait, watch, and see how teams fare because we saw VR1 ESN going against each other in Pochinki where ESN eventually paid the price. It was shocking to see teams going for their hot drops even after knowing that. I mean, like I have seen VR1 going for Pochinki from all I can recall every time they had to play Erangel. So ESN taking their chance and trying to mess up with the drops. These are some interesting moves, and I think these moves are definitely gonna have some more repercussions and the PMCO that's going to follow.
In case any of the teams participating watch this, go over it. Just go for it. Just try new things out. Today is your day, and the last game you can just try new things out. Maybe give a bolt action rifle to the guy who does the assaulting. Maybe give your frag assault entry guy a sniper. Just mix it up, have some fun. That's what it's all about. But Thug, I think we all can't wait for the third game.
Definitely. Let's I mean, like I actually want to move on to the last game and see how teams sit. But let's move on to the quick break. We'll be right back for action. Stay tuned, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back yet again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2020 India Edition. My name is, of course, Angad Singh Chahal. I go by The Experiment, and with me is a guy you might have heard of. It's Animesh Agarwal. It's 8-Bit Thug. Thug, 2 games down, 1 last game to go.
Yeah, I'm like super excited to see how these teams fare in this game, because this is gonna set up the tone for the remaining of the tournament, because we are gonna get
Lost. We're back.
okay.
We're back.
Yeah, we might get to see the way the remaining of the tournaments turn out, because we have just one more game to go today, Erangel, and then the teams get seeded into groups, and we get to see something new starting from tomorrow. That's the semi-finals for PMCO Fall Split India region. And right now, the flight path going from military base to shooting range, a little bit biased towards the western side.
A little biased, complete opposite from what we saw in the first 2 games. But excuse me, I beg your pardon. But I don't think it's going to really change the meta, because people are still going to drop where they want to drop. But my eyes are. It was kind of unfortunate that Team ESN isn't playing this game, because I wanted to see whether they're going to go to Pochinki again. But the big names on our screens right now are definitely going to be VR1 Esports and Team Mayhem are coming back. Now, both these teams won chicken dinners in the first and second game, and I wonder if it's going to be one of them who walk away with all the glory this game as well. Because have a look at where MYM is falling. They've got the Ferry Pair and Primosk all down to their to their liking. They can do whatever they want over there. They don't have any opposition close by. I think the only first team that's going to kind of tango with them is going to be AZTECS ESP and the Zone this time again on the main island, and this time a little bit towards the west. What's happening with the Zone? All 3 zones, North Island, pretty much center.
Yeah, I mean, like Southern Island zone is pretty much rare, but right now, if we see the way the zone is, I think every team could be very happy about it, because it's not a difficult zone. It's gonna be very easy for the teams to just rotate. Apart from, yes, we have Optimum MCYS, 2 teams going towards the southern circle. They might have to do a little bit, might have to hurry up a bit, because MCYS, by the looks of it, might just be going towards Novorep, and so they need to make a rotation. They need to drive down to Novorep, get that loot, and come back and find a safe spot inside the circle.
I think that's going to be pretty easy for them, especially since not a lot of teams. Well, there's no team in Milta, there's no team around the farm region, especially towards the eastern aspect. So they shouldn't really have a lot of opposition making their way to the zone unless somebody decides to come and block the bridge. But we might see some action over here as Optimum Esports, they are looting with some contention over here. But MCYS Zark, I think, was the intended target, who is going to make sure that he makes his way towards Novo Repnoi. But now this kind of will alert the enemy, especially Optimum Esports, that there is a team on this island, so they've got to be careful. But judging by what my experience and what we've seen in the past, they might actually take the bridge on the left, that is the military bridge as we like calling it, which could be blockaded by FINTOX. Aha! And just as I say that, just have a look at how Finn Royal is placed right now, right? He's looting the compounds right next to the bridge, which can potentially set them up for a good bridge block later on.
Yeah, I mean, like the way FINTOX is set right now, but generally what I see that these teams, the teams that take this kind of rotation, is pretty similar to what Fnatic does in the Indian circuit. But right now, I don't generally see these teams moving towards the bridge and take the bridge camp, because I mean, like, it's obviously FINTOX can't just stay around bridge thinking that a team could be there on the other side, because generally it's lesser amount of teams going for the island drop. But looking at the way the circle might fare, I think it's going to be more inclined towards Rozhok, the Water City, and the Ruins. So it depends how teams want to take it forward. If they want to chase the placement points, they're definitely going to move way up north towards the Potato Hill or towards the northwestern side of Pochinki. But if they are going for the kills, we might see them bridge camping, just like you mentioned.
I wanna see some bridge camps. I mean, again, I just want to see some drama, please. Vehicles get blown up. I want to see a movie on my screen. I mean, this is the entertainment, so I want to get the best out of it. But I think as far as bullets flying, bodies dropping, and the entertainment goes, we might see a little bit of a face-off between STALWART Esports and UP50, who are divided right now by that mountain dead smack center of West Georgia Paul and the Georgia Paul containers. So we might see some lead flying over there really soon. And we're going to join LS Joker WSS right now, who is on Rozhok Hill with his eyes firmly on Futurestation. And I think Havoc and Somraj are completely oblivious to the fact that there's somebody watching them. But the question is, he's got an Uzi and a Thompson. Not the best guns for long-range engagements.
I mean, like, yes, I mean, like an Uzi or Thompson. I think Uzi, it's not exact no way meant for long range at all, because the bullet drop and all is pretty high. And yes, I do believe that we have some kind of a technical fault here. So I know, like, XP, I mean, like, you just went into frenzy, but you can calm down. It happens. We are into remote production,
Whew,
and I think
thank God.
things will get sorted really soon. Meanwhile, we have Stalwart Esports going for Giorgio West, and I think they aren't contested by anyone.
They are not contested by anyone. And, well, again, we're going to see some action really soon as the zone has started moving, which means the teams are going to be moving into their favorite spots. But again, a lot of now is for that little bit of a glitch on our screens right now. I wonder if it's the same for everyone. It's just a little bit of finesse, which is absolutely fine right now. Again, we're going to say that same dialogue that you guys have come to. Probably, you're sick of it right now. Technical difficulties are a part and parcel of such tournaments, especially when you are casting from home and everything is remotely done. And how many times have we said that till now? But I think that is true. I mean,
That's
we have
true.
a
I mean,
few
like, that's true.
hiccups.
But I think XP, I think I can take a quick break and we can just try to reset and see stuff work.
Let's try that.
So, audience, will be right back. Okay, and I think we are back with our problem sorted. Yes, it's way clear, and I think we have teams moving in. As of now, we have one casualty from the entire lobby. That's Nox Octopus, who is down.
Thug, you have many feathers in your cap, right? You're one of the entrepreneurs, you're one of the pioneers for PUBG Mobile over here. You've got your team, but I think you might want to add production into that as well, because you just fixed the entire thing. And let's have some applause for my co-caster over here. But anyway, coming back to the game, we have a look at it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. And one team that kind of sticks out for me right now is BXP. Now, they didn't have the best game in the last something behind. He's going to pick that up, and he should be joining his teammates soon enough. But Team 17, we still have two teams in the Sosnovka military base. Optimum Esports and MCYS are still down south.
Yeah, I mean, like, we do have some UP50 and Nox situation in front of our eyes, but it depends, and let's see how this teams fare. But yes, let's wait, watch, and see. I think we need to take a little bit longer break just to ensure that we don't have the problem.
Your call, my friend.
Okay, and we are back, and we are down to 14 teams, and I think we lost one more player when we left, and we are down to 54 players, 14 teams, 9 minutes into the game.
I think we're bringing some luck. It's an AWM in the drop. There's not one, But 2 drops, M249 and 1 AWM in the other. Somebody has to go for that. Those are some goodies you cannot stay away from. But we are going to join right in the action over here as FINTOX is going up against AZTECS ESP. Now, AZTECS, they've lost 2 players so far. So have FINTOX, as Dark Lord is going to be one of the men standing. He gets a knock on Explicit, and that means Royal is going to have his work cut out as he goes up against 2 members of AZTEC. That is a good grenade that can be lobbed from his direction. He does lob it first. Is Dark Lord going to go out? Oh, he does take some damage, but he changes his position in record time. That is a beautiful, beautiful way he kind of moved around right now. And in fact, Dark Lord has a few kills right now, but
yeah, I mean, like we have AZTEC, Dark Lord trying to go in, and AZTEC goes ahead and wipes out the team entirely.
It has? Okay, it has. Wait, what? Royal took himself out with a grenade.
Yeah, I mean, like we have VR1 Skeleton, Deuce, Punk Race trying to move in, and we have STALWART Esports, who could be a lot of trouble. Punk did try to connect one shot, but unfortunately he did not connect. But Sarang comes in and picks off Punk.
He does pick him off indeed, and Punk has gone down, but Skeleton is going to come in. I think the revive is going to be nice and easy as his teammates are going to make sure that they pick up this man over here first. Rage is going to make sure he deploys some screen cover for his teammates, but have a look at how STALWART Esports are moving in. They are making sure they are not going to give any breathing space to the opponents as Robin and the teammates are coming in from all angles. And look at the way they're going to move in. Deuce is going to be the first one that gets taken out. His misery has ended, but Punk, the man of the moment, the guy who got them victory in the last game, has been saved, and that was a beautiful way. They just went in, got his teammate, and came back out. That is Extraction on par with all those action movies that you see on TV. That is stuff right out from the movies. But now, STALWART Esports, they might actually be in a bad position right now because they do have that high ridge, yes, but they've got to be careful that nobody comes in from behind. But if you have a look at the minimap, it kind of looks clear right now, but offshore lurking in the distance is Team Mayhem, and well, we know what they can do, but this is a site we saw earlier. Nox official up against VR1 Esports yet again.
Right, and Mayhem is back into action as well, so it's gonna be fun to see the first 2 teams, the teams which got taken in the first 2 games, trying to go against each other. And let's see how Skeleton, Punk, and Rage fare against Nox. Both teams down to 3 men, and it's a 3v3 situation. I think it's a 3v2 situation where Nox, one of the players from Nox, I think it's they got Nox is down to 2 men if I'm not wrong.
I think you are absolutely right. Let me just make sure that we get that right. They are down to 2 man, and it's like deja vu right now because in the last game as well, we saw these 2 gentlemen, Mayank and King. Ankit survived. Even in game 1, we saw them survive. I think this duo is a good duo, but maybe they need to kind of split up and work with the other teammates as well, because I've been seeing just these 2 surviving till the end in all games. But again, that is just me speculating right now. Of course, they're just having some fun. After all, they already have their positions in the semi-finals, and the real tournament begins tomorrow. But I think it is essential that you want to be seeded as one of the best teams in the tournament because it has a certain psychological aspect to it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, the psychological effect is what makes and breaks teams. I believe that the game is more about your psychological strength, more than your absolute skill set. I mean, like gun skills and rotational skills and IGL skills are not the only aspect to a complete team. I mean, like your psychological strength and the way you train mentally to be strong enough to go against such big names in such big tournaments. I think that is very important. I think it's a part of every sport, be it electronic sports or the general sport. Your mental strength really defines you as a team and makes you as a team.
And overhead grenades being lobbed on either end as Bhishma lobbed one to no avail, but he's got to get out right now because the grenade might be coming in his direction. I think this could be it, and that is it. Priest is the one who's going to get a knock on LS Bhishma for the win. The Priest is the one that takes down the mighty warrior. But let's have a look at what the other teams are going to do so far. Skeleton is now laying down lead in STALWART Esports direction. The Priest comes in and finishes Bhishma. So does Frag OP go down to his teammate, which is actually amazing because UP50 are finally stepping up as well as they are showcasing the world what they are made of. But like I said earlier, Thug, STALWART Esports, good position, but they've got to be careful because they are kind of exposed, and it looks like teams are just driving past because I do believe Nalayk, or was the team ESN, just drove right behind them. Again, it's kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing that, they're out in the open, but I guess the zone is in their favor, so they really don't have to worry, about anything because soon enough, they're going to have the blue zone at their backs.
Yeah, I mean, like teams need to be careful. The way Stalwart is placed, if they hold on to that place until the very end, then it's gonna be super fine. But then if they lose out on that spot, that's where things might get difficult for them. And talking about the way Nox and Stalwart VR1 they are placed, we might get to see an entirely different game right now because it's a triangle situation, and Stalwart does have an advantage, but depends on Stalwart how they decide to use this advantage to the best of their benefit.
Now, team we were talking about earlier, team LegStump. If you have a look at the minimap, you can see 13 right at the top. So that is team LegStump, and interesting position because still a lot of compounds in the zone, but they decided to be out in the open ridges, which again is a high risk, high reward situation because A, it's unexpected. B, you can get a lot of surprise kills. You can basically ambush teams coming out of these compounds, but you can also be exposed from all directions. So the way they're going to be moving from one end to the other is going to be exciting to see, and if that is actually going to help them out later on. But for now, we have a little bit of a stalemate between STALWART Esports, VR1 Esports, and Nox Mayank and King Ankit, who I'm sure are going to be, well, they're not going to move a muscle because they are two men up against a potential 7.
Right, like you said, they are surrounded by players on all sides, and I think Stalwart does have the best advantage. But I think this fight has been dragged a little bit too far because Stalwart can escape anytime. But what about Nox in VR1? If there's one more squad that comes to the other side of the region, I mean, like if a squad approaches from the ruins angle towards this side, then this team's VR1 and Nox could be in a lot of trouble. Stalwart does need to make a move inside the circle. They have this opportunity to rotate. Depends how they are gonna rotate or if they are gonna crash into this compound.
Since the compound is also just out of the zone, or is it it's just a little bit outside the zone, I think the compound is going to be uncontested for now. But this is a good chance for LC's OP gets a knock on Cloak from Team MYN. That is an interesting fight. Of course, should be up on our screens, but Mayank is in such a wonderful position. Had that door been would have been in a world of trouble, but it looks like by the look of things, VR1 definitely have vehicles at their disposal, but I'm not sure about Nox official. Now the question is, are they going to steal the enemy's vehicle or are they going to make a run for it on foot?
Yeah, this is a question that even popped into my mind, but right now I believe that all the three teams, because of delaying the entire situation, I think they're in a lot of trouble, and we might get to see one team surviving, but ultimately falling down to the zone. And right now we see a push come in, and that's exactly when we don't know what exactly happened there. Why would someone do that?
All right, we're back in the fight, and STALWART Esports against all odds. They have pushed in. Oh my goodness, Blaze OP just got taken out over there by Rage, and Punk is the one who's knocked out. Here come the remaining teammates. Damon and Sarong are in the same position. This grenade can be devastating. They might go for a revive, and that grenade can spell trouble, but it does not. However, King Ankit from elsewhere is getting some shots in. He's sitting in that triple-story building on the side, and they're like, you know what, there's another team to be content with. VR1 Skeleton gets a knock and finish on Robin. Now, STE Sarong is the last man standing as he picks up his teammates. Thug, what a mistake they've made.
Right, and this is, a very big mistake. I mean, like something that I haven't seen, and that nade is definitely gonna wipe out the entire squad of STALWART Esports. And STALWART, I mean, like, why wouldn't crash in and not go for that rotation? And STALWART Esports getting eliminated. That's some terrible, terrible decision making on the part of STALWART Esports.
Rookie moves.
Yeah, I mean, like rookie moves, like exactly like you said, perfectly put to words. And here we have FALLENangelz sitting right there, not fallen this time, not going down so easily without putting up a fight. We have Vishu, Kerito, Clutcher, and Bloodfire having a good squad house to themselves, along with a little bit of like a couple of more small houses. I did see some vehicle damage coming into play, but then I saw that, but I think the player did not get knocked.
That is quite fortunate, because that would have been a bad knock in a very bad situation. Elsewhere, Dungi OP goes down to Winterstorm, and Futurestation are finally playing their best game so far, as they are playing nice and strong. But Mayhem Cloak is going to be the one who gets a knock, and then a finish on FS Winterstorm. So this is an interesting fight, and again, a very interesting location for Team MYM, as they have a little bit of a lay of the land. They have the high grounds at one end, but they already took care of that situation. They've got to be careful about, I do believe, Team LegStump, who are going to be the closest to them as far as competition goes right now. But Fallen Bloodfire is going to be rattling off bullets elsewhere, as the fight has broken out between BlitzkriegXP and the FALLENangelz. But again, Nox official against all odds, that two-man duo of King Ankit and Mayank, absolutely devastating.
Right, and here we see BXP, Blitzkrieg, RG entering the circle from the northeastern part, and we have Fallen Team Fallen, who might get a chance. Fallen have a chance. FALLENangelz have a chance to make the best out of this game. They have the circle all to themselves. They have the best components at the circle. They could have players standing in front of them in open field, and they just need to ensure that they connect those shots. But let's see if FALLENangelz are able to convert it or not. But we have LS Joker coming into action, taking on VR1 Skeleton, and MYM playing it slow. Are towards the they are at the edge of the circle. They need to make a big rotation. Let's see how successfully they are able to enter the circle. VR1 Rage picking one up, and I think that those were some really good reflexes. And Rage coming up with the 1v2 and wiping out Nox. Ultimately 7 kills in the hands of VR1.
I mean, VR1, like I said, they are carrying that momentum forward. These boys are on fire. They're making sure that people know that they are one tight-knit unit. Of course, they call themselves VR1, which can be construed in many different ways. But in my mind, I'm putting up my finger right now. I'm saying we are one. That's how I'm looking at it. But again, they are playing wonderful over here. Fallen Cadrito rattling off the bullets, gets a knock on Mad Dog, and VXP once again find themselves at the receiving end of things. I think Mad Dog's miseries are going to be ended. He is meeting his maker, as does Daddy, if I'm not wrong, and they are down to one last member. Again, what is up with that team? We'll come back to that in a second as we join VR1, the men of the moment, the squad of the moment. 8 kills to their names as they find themselves under heavy fire from opposition on at all ends. And again, I like the way MYM are positioned still on the low ground. They have so many smoke grenades, and they're actually using them with aplomb right now.
Right, and looking at RG Clownies back into the squad, we have Exotic Zero Newbie trying to move in. Newbie is knocked out, picked off, and MYM seems to be in a lot of trouble with 2 players going down, and one of them getting completely confirmed. That's Manav and Cloak going down. It all comes down to Immortal and Sensei trying to figure out the way ahead for their team. And
one of these days, and ask him, is it Noob YT or is it Noobie TB? Because I wouldn't know.
I think it's Noob White or something of that kind. I mean, like, you know, players come up with. I think generally YTB is for YouTube. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
But yes, we have 9 teams, 22 players. Water City is still into play. Optimum's, I think it's Optimum still holding around Water City. We have Optimum G Bash taking out AZTECS Rebel, and unfortunately AZTECS could not really do much today. And that's some nice sniping coming from Immortal.
However, it wasn't his shot that got him. It was actually a grenade lobbed from elsewhere that did the killing in. And with that, another team has bitten the dust. And over here, we have a fight. Wait a second, AZTECS, ESP, they were in such a wonderful position, but they found themselves overwhelmed, overpowered by the enemy, and they are going to be getting out in the 8th position in this game. Meanwhile, MCYS's Doc is laying down lead in Optimum Esports direction, and UP50's Mamu is one, in fact, who's going to come in and get a knock. So now Optimum Esports are in the middle of a crazy hailstorm of bullets from all directions, and I do believe Critical 7, I beg your pardon, is the last man standing. And elsewhere, Team Mayhem, Thug, who were in a good position in the south of the zone, find themselves getting eliminated in the 7th position.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were at a good spot, but I think it was that too much to ask for them to go for that big rotation, as we could see them towards the very edge of the entire circle in play. Right now we have 16 players. Let's see how Optimum goes, and up 50 trying to make it into the last circle. Interesting to see up 50 finally being able to enter the 6th circle.
Well, I think let's have a look at all these teams right now. Team 11, UP50, of course, all the other teams right next to them. They're in a big tricky situation because the zone is making sure that they move in, and FALLENangelz are going to come in and capitalize on the one last shack, the one last shed in the circle. Ooh, he almost got taken out. Meanwhile, Doc is the one who's going to fall to Optimum over there, and Fallen Clutcher is going to go down as well. Now, this is a dicey situation because yes, it does provide you cover, but one good grenade too. You know, if teams concentrate their firepower at one place, it can be detrimental for the team that is over there. But again, it looks like it is going to pay off for FALLENangelz, especially since they have all those smoke grenades at their disposal. Elsewhere, in 6th position, Optimum Esports are bowing out with 3 kills to their name. That's a big grenade. That is a big grenade. Oh my goodness, that was such a beautifully lobbed grenade by RG Exotic, getting 2 knocks over there. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just saw that trajectory and I was like, wow, that is a grenade that was lobbed to perfection that Kobe would be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know,
wow.
The way Exotic did that, it was beauty to my eyes. The way the nade was lobbed, it was, like you said, it was lobbed to perfection. I think a couple of more nades coming in. But I think the second one might as well inflict some damage, but we'll have to wait, watch and see. This game, Reckoning, looks like they might be able to come up with some good gameplay, but it's talking that Rage hasn't been spotted as of now by UP50. Meanwhile, Reckoning, they need to be safe, they need to ensure that they're safe from the other side, because I don't see any of the Reckoning players focusing on the opposite end, where we have a couple of other teams that could put Reckoning into a spot.
You know, I guess for the other team, they're trying to say it as dramatically as possible. The time of reckoning is finally here. And have a look at the way these guys are just on fire right now. They do have that high advantage, the high ground as an advantage to them. Still lobbing grenades mercilessly in UP50's direction. But have a look at VR1 Rage. He is quiet. He is as sneaky as possible. He's making sure he doesn't move a single muscle. Not a single eyelash will be batted at his position, because it kind of looks like Clowny and the boys don't really have an idea that someone's there, since all their attention is on another team. Meanwhile, now Reckoning are in a good position, right? They know the location of one team. They know the location of another team. And have a look at the players alive. They might as well just assume that it's full-man squads, and they might not know that VR1 Rage can be in a position to do something devastating like his teammate did in the last game.
Oh, I mean, look at the way RG is trying to play here on. I believe that they just need to be wary of FALLENangelz, because FALLENangelz are a 3-4-man squad, and they are
going in.
Yeah, I mean, like zero going in. That's I think it's not going in. It's just one of those players. But look at that pre-nade by Rage. I'm pretty sure Rage cooked that nade way before Zero moved in, and this could be a move that could change the scene entirely for VR1. And I think yep, and I think RG could be a lot of trouble as well. But UP50 right now is trying to pick off the shots everywhere.
They are, and now FALLENangelz, full 4-man squad. Last 3 teams. Make that last 2 teams. It's going to come down between Reckoning and, of course, RG over here, and FALLENangelz. And I do believe one of the FALLENangelz have gone down, and it's Bishu who is the first one to get his wings clipped, and Cloudy over here trying desperately to make sure he keeps the enemy at bay. Meanwhile, his teammate Clutcher, well, his opponent Clutcher is moving into the game as well. It's going to be a one-on-one situation right now till the end. Clowny is going to go down, and with that, I do believe it is, I'm totally at loss of words. I think FALLENangelz have come out with the victory, and again, 4-man squad right till the end. As you mentioned, they had one of the best compounds in the final circles. They used that to their advantage, and again, it was such a dicey situation when they moved for that shack, because anything can happen. And we saw how Reckoning were good with their grenades. If one grenade was lobbed in that direction and made it through that little slit in the wall, oh, that would have been an amazing team wipe. But anyway, FALLENangelz, not fallen anymore, have they?
Not at all. I mean, like, if you remember that when we started this day and I saw that name again, I know this team has something in them. They have this player called Vishu who stands out. He's that one person who makes up for 50%, I think more than 50% of this entire squad's gunpowder. So the way they have played, I think they have a really good synergy. FALLENangelz are one of those teams that I see very much in sync. I'm not talking about skill here, but I'm talking about the sync. They look synchronized. They look properly, the communication looks very strong. So I believe these are the things adding to their performance. And we saw them getting their chicken dinner in this game. We might see stuff happening better here on.
See, they say practice makes perfect. Skills and, gunpowder is something that can be worked on, of course, as they move up to higher and bigger stages of PUBG Mobile. They're going to get a lot more exposure. But yes, I mean, that synchronization, that synergy, that communication, that little, quid pro quo between them is what exactly is working out for them. And, it got them a chicken dinner this time around. But a few names kind of fell out early, finding themselves in precarious situations, which you're not really used to from those teams. For example, Team MYM. Now, I said that, it's like 2 sides of the same coin. They had those ridges just north to those 2 compounds north of Pochinki, between the school and Pochinki. So, I mean, I said that, it can either be very good for them because they can kind of surprise the enemy and ambush them. But again, they'll have too much of opposition, too much of an onslaught later on to contend with. And it did finally put them in the grave, but not what I expect from very experienced players, veterans, as you call them.
Yeah, I mean, like I do expect the veterans to come out and play fearlessly. I mean, like that's the biggest thing that they need to do. Going for those open rotations, trying to hunt down teams. But what I'm seeing here right now is teams are. I think it's entirely the opposite, where teams are more doubtful about their position, about their name, about the way they, about the way fans look up to them. And I think this is why teams are just trying to play it very safe. But I think that could be detrimental to their position and the overall ultimate results from this PMCO. Teams need to realize that ultimately it's not about the name, it's not about the fame, it's all about the skills, those placement points, and the skills that they can show.
Also, the day and age that we are living in, I mean, a day or 2 days before is old news now. So, we are living in the present, especially in the 21st century now. So forget about your past achievements, because if you
Yeah.
mess up ahead, oh, you're going to get eaten
Yeah, I
alive
mean,
by a
like your
wonderful,
past,
adoring
you already
public.
got paid for your past. I mean, like you already got everything that you had for your past achievements. You
Make
got the,
something new.
yeah, I mean, like you need to keep working, you need to keep working towards it improvement. And I think this is where teams need to work. But yes, I think a good restart to PMCO. Three teams, one of the very experienced, and MYM getting their chicken in, and then we had VR1 and FALLENangelz. I think I'm pretty happy with the way this PMCO has restarted.
It is, and again, this is just the little pre-game show, so to speak. This is the seeding matches to make sure which all teams go in which groups tomorrow. Because you all watching, tell your friends as well that tomorrow is when the action really kicks off with the semi-finals of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2020. Thug, which edition?
I think it's the fall split 2020 India edition.
I love that. I just love seeing an Indian edition. I don't know, it just feels good. Especially the last day when Thug and I had the opportunity to wear a little bit more traditional outfits. And, we had our,
Right.
what do you call them? Churitars, chunnis, and,
Yes.
Indian edition. It felt good. I'm just messing around.
Yes. But yes, I think good game. Three Erangels. The teams played out their best. I think they have all the teams must have taken their key points. Teams that they who have a good backup team, who have coaches in place, they might have taken their notes, and we might get to see an entirely different show here on in PMCO, because the seeding must have been done. I mean, like the points table will come on soon, and then we'll have the seeds in place. Then we have the group stages kicking in, because it's gonna be semi-finals. The journey is gonna be, there's no breathing space here on. I think today was the only day when you had nothing to win or lose.
And also for all you wonderful people watching out there, the next couple of weeks are going to be action packed, because we kick off with the semifinals, like I said, tomorrow, and it's going to be amazing. And the best thing, again, a big shout out, a massive thanks to PUBG Mobile and all the big bosses up there for actually doing something about the situation that the players themselves cried out for, Thug. And it has happened in the past, and the fact that we had such amazing, record-breaking reaction from the organizers, and they acted quick, disqualified a lot of teams, made sure everyone has a level playing field. Kudos to them, and I think it's just going to make for a much more exciting tournament.
I mean, like, yes, fair play is definitely very important for the integrity of such a big and massive esports company. PUBG Mobile Esports has grown, massively over the last couple of years since the games were inception. The numbers have not only doubled up, but I think, we have reached, maybe from the day we started, I think we are at least a 50x spot numbers wise, and the way we have been able to reach and penetrate the audience across the globe.
Absolutely, and it kind of feels good that I know that you and I, we've known each other for the last 2 years, and we've been there right at the beginning, and we are like the old men in our community right now. But I guess age is just a number, and I don't know why I brought that up. And I just, there's a saying in Hindi. I wonder what the reciprocal saying in English is. Khud ke pair par kulhadi marna. When you just smack yourself down. I'm going to look that up, but that is what I did right now. Again, I'm a young guy. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know. We're just babbling on right now. I think I wonder if you're going to have the overall standings, which again, this is just for seedings. I wonder if that's going to come up, but I'm just going to ask you for your impressions from today. We've already talked about, they weren't really playing their full potential today, because again, it's just a chill day. It's a relaxed day for them. But I think they better get used to some heavy competition coming up, because a lot of teams, except XSpark, except LegStump, except Team Mayhem, except Futurestation, they've got some good firepower. And if they just hone in on their skills, tactically, I think they need to just, adjust a little bit. We might see some big dogs coming up in future.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that here on it's all very competitive. I think we have reached the highest level of competition, because we still have 21 teams. But then by the looks of today, I believe that any team could surprise us, and I'm waiting to see how we get surprised, because I feel that there are a lot of things that's gonna come up. Just waiting to see how things roll here on, because just after the seeding is done, these teams are going to fight it out for their ultimate glory, which is the 5 spots into the PMPL.
Well, that is what it all comes down to. And again, I do believe we might have a minute or two before we actually say goodbye to all our viewers right now. But I've got a question well, let me ask you a question and a view. It's a combined question for the two of you. So now, what would you give more precedence to? We talk about veterans, we talk about experience, but all the newer teams that are coming up, they have the option to actually look at what's happening, right? We can go over through all the tournaments. We can actually look at a team we look up to, what's their gameplay, and yada yada yada. But the question is, do you see a new trend emerging in the Indian meta? Because let me just take you back history for a second. Initially, we held compounds. We played very defensively. In the PMW, well, we saw our teams go all out aggressive, and I guess the best thing is if there's a balance between the two, right? Do you think that's going to happen anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, like, even if you see the teams that went ahead and performed really well in the PMWL, so there are three aspects to it. One is holding compounds, one is holding the center of the circle, and the third one could be going out all aggressive. But right now, we do have some highlights on screen, and we'll allow our audience to watch those highlights while we are right back with the match ending.
Because again, it is just seeding, but I want to kind of have an idea where each team goes. Let me ask you guys watching at home: do you have an idea of how the seeding system works? Because they did tell me, and I was like, all right, this sounds or looks complicated, but it's actually very easy, and it's a good thing, Thug, because in the next few groups, everyone is going to be divided evenly based on their performances.
Right. I mean, like, I believe that this seeding based on the performance is the best thing because teams get, grouped evenly. We have a mixture of good and bad performing teams evenly spread out so that when we have these three groups going against each other, when there's a mix and match happening, when one of the groups sits out each day, then we don't have too much of problems because if it's imbalanced, then we might get to see an unfair advantage to groups. But I think the seeding process is meant like that's why we do those seedings, and I think it perfectly suits the esports ecosystem as well.
Absolutely, and I like the fact that you use words like ecosystem and all, because it's just reminding me of that message that we saw earlier. Again, it's all about fair play, and it's all about making sure that you get a fair chance. But this is the thing about the seeding system that I had a little issue with earlier. Now, suppose I know that I'm going to qualify for the semifinals regardless. Would I want to play okay, should I not to my full potential so that I get a lower rank, and then if you think about it, get seated in a relatively easier group? But that could be an aspect, but it does have an opposite end to it as well. The next week and a half of semifinals, it won't give me that exposure that I need, fighting against the big boys and making sure that I keep up with them. So again, it's two sides of the same coin. But let's have a look at the MVP on our screens right now. And you had mentioned this gentleman was missing from game 2. Well, he is here and he is on our screens as the most valuable player, Clowny. 5 kills, 754 points of damage. I think he just came out guns blazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, the way Clowny played, he's like a very experienced player. He played for his team in the PMCO spring season as well, and till then, the grind has been on. He has been trying to somehow make his way into the top, and finally, his hard work is paying off. We see with 5 kills, good kills, and we saw how RG was holding on to that hill. Right now, we have on our screen the standings for Group Stage Match 3.
Well, a lot of the kills have gone into double digits, which is kind of surprising. But FALLENangelz right on top with 27 points, 7 of those coming from kills. Reckoning having a wonderful game, 23 to their names, 9 kills in total, as did VR1 Esports, who, to be honest with you, have just surprised me and blown my mind today. All 3 games, I beg your pardon, these guys have been, firing on all cylinders, getting the job done. And the way they are playing as a tightly knit unit is something that stands out for me. And Team Mayhem, 8th position, 8 points for them. Not a bad outing. Again, they got caught off a couple of times. I think they could have avoided that situation, especially since they are such experienced players. But I guess the biggest surprise for me this game, a couple of surprises, is BlitzkriegXP and Team LegStump.
Yeah, I mean, like, looking at the way Blitzkrieg and LegStump are playing, they are very experienced side. You're talking about both of this lineup. Both the lineups are pretty experienced. It's most surprising to see LS because the players from LS have been into the scene, like they have been very active recently. The Blitzkrieg boys, I think I am seeing less of them in the domestic circuit, but LS is definitely a shock. Bhishma coming up from UME in the last season and taking his team to a very good start way back in March. Eventually, yes, UME did go out, but then Bhishma is pretty experienced. He has been into the scene since a couple of years, and his boys, the boys that he got, Dangi and the lot, I think they're a good side to fight it out. But yes, let's talk about the overall standings. We have in front of us VR1 leading the charges 49 points.
I mean, I am not surprised as well, especially seeing the gameplay today. I think XSpark and Team Mayhem might want to watch out for them in future, Thug.
Yeah, I mean, like, XSpark might need to watch out because today XSpark did not really fare too well. 30 points, and then we had Mayhem and VR1 Esports with 43 and 49 each. A good lead that VR1 was able to get across this on top of these teams. They have 21 kill points. They beat Mayhem with 3 kill points as well. So in all divisions, VR1 did outperform any of their competing teams.
All right, so let's, again, this is the seeding. Let's just talk about a few teams. Team Insane, 11th, and have a look at Team LegStump in 14th. Now, if you see them in this position tomorrow, would that come as a shock to you, or would that be all right seeing their performance over the last 4 or 5 days?
I think, looking at the way they have performed, I think this could be... I won't take too much out of it because, like I said, it's seeding round today. It could be possible that some of our teams did not take it too seriously, or because seedings, in my opinion, don't really matter for the top teams. For the lower teams, I believe that even for them, I believe seeding does not really help. What they need to do is to go back home and work hard. I believe like there's no substitute to hard work. You need to ensure that you are grinding. Blitzkrieg at the end of 2 games, sitting at the last spot with 2 points. I mean, like 1 point on an average. You are such experience, and you just need to work hard. No excuses.
This is one thing I really like about you. Smart guy. Try to put you on the spot, but you kind of just, diverted your way around. Then I was like, all right, that's why I have a big smile on my face right now. Sorry for that. But I mean, let's wait and see what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm sure all of you watching at home cannot wait. So, Thug, I think we might just, I don't know. Let me put some pressure on myself right now. I feel tomorrow, especially, we're going to see the rise of a few teams who've kind of been quiet today. They are going to actually rise up and get the job done because, of course, VR1, they've completely obliterated the enemies. And Mayhem, in fact, stepped up again this time. But I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for FALLENangelz. And even at sometimes today, especially in the last game, UP50 were playing pretty decent. I mean, we haven't really seen that from them in the past, but they kind of surprised me today.
Yeah, I mean, like, even after those nades coming in from RG Exotic, those perfectly lobbed nades, UP50 did go down, but eventually they managed to survive. They even picked off, I think, VR1 Rage, the last surviving guy. I think UP50 also got that in them. It's just about that things working in their favor at the right time. I think this is what the game is all about. all the teams, we know they're skilled enough, they are good enough. That's the reason they are sitting. Now we can safely say that they're skilled enough and they deservingly are into the PMCO. But let's see what the remaining of the days unfold and what else do we get to see from these teams.
It's kind of funny how we're trying to tread lightly around the topic. Of course, we want to say a few things because we're passionate about PUBG Mobile as well. Because you're a player, I'm a player, and we've been through so many trials and tribulations over the past, and it's kind of disheartening to see when such things like this happen. But again, a round of applause to all the teams who have been on our screens today. You guys are what the future's all about, and I can't wait to see what you guys bring to the table next.
Yes, and talking about next, that's it from today's guys. And I think me, 8-Bit Thug, alongside XP, we're gonna sign off and see you guys soon with the group semi-finals of PMCO. Take care, stay safe, stay home, and see you.